this meeting to order tonight. Everyone would stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We're opening our meeting July 7th, 2026, 6 p.m. We just did the Pledge of Allegiance, and we'd like to approve the minutes for our June 2nd regular meeting. If someone, has everyone had the opportunity to look at them?
I have a question.
Okay.
On these opioid grants, is it ethical, is it lawful for a recipient to vote to approve? Madam Chair, I know you received over $40,000 of this funds. Is it ethical? Is it lawful?
Well, let me tell you this. Here's where we are on the opiate settlement. It shouldn't have even came through the Fayette County Council. It never has. It's
Oh, it has
only,
before.
listen, no, it hasn't.
Yes, it has.
Hold on, may I finish? Okay, so how it has been done is the county commissioners and the city mayor always handled that. But to appease Kay Riker Payton, we approved it for it to go through county council for whatever reason. I still don't have the understanding, unless Mr. Westling can tell me why we even voted on it. I don't know. County has nothing to do with it. Can you explain to Mr. Patterson what's going on?
Well, what do you mean the county has nothing to do with it?
I mean, we don't, the commissioners and
You're
the
saying county council?
county council, right. The commissioners and the city mayor is who appropriates and distributes
Jeff,
the opiate settlement.
I did some investigating into that, and state statute says that everything that's appropriated has to go in front of the council, including the opioid funds. And I checked with the other state entities to make sure that was correct, and the state board of accounts said it was correct. That this council has to approve because they do the appropriations.
Have you checked with other counties?
Yes, I have.
And who would that be?
Union County.
One county.
Why do I need to check with another county?
Go ahead, Mr. Westling.
I think that going back to Councilman Patterson's big chief concern is, I'm always going to err on the side of if there's a conflict, don't vote, abstain, don't get involved in the discussion. I mean, that's always kind of been my advice to the board. I don't remember specifically this vote. This council did not decide who was going to get it. That was done by a committee that made those decisions, and then the commissioners and the city approved it. I'm trying to remember, I don't remember the council voting on that. I don't know if we voted on those specific people,
No.
had any discussions about changing who it was. So there is a layer of protection, but I mean, I don't know that it changes anything, but if there's concerns about that, I kind of wish that would get brought up, because I don't even know about it. Like, I don't even know who the entities are that are getting it and that kind of thing. I don't think Councilman Granville made a decision on who was getting the money.
No.
You know what I mean? That's a distinct vote, I think. That would be an issue if she's voting for her entity to get money. But I don't recall it that way, Mr. Patterson, but I don't know exactly what the vote was about. I don't remember.
And to clarify, the reason that the House of Ruth, Sharon Cranfield, does not get the money, the House of Ruth is the only recovery home for women in the county, and we are eligible for all of the opiate settlement grant, and that's exactly why we got it. Has nothing to do with me being on council. It has, I have been the director and founder of the House of Ruth for 16 years, and we have helped a lot of women in our community. That's the reason we got the grant. That's what the opiate settlement is for, and that's what it is used for. That's the
I
clarification.
just asked the question.
Understood, and I understand, if you're asking me in the future, if it's safer to, it's always much safer to not to abstain from voting, to abstain from having any part of the discussion, if there's anything that that goes for all of you guys. If there's something that can benefit you, you certainly, I'm probably more strict on that than I am anything else, and the fact that if there's any gain that you can have individually, then you should abstain from being part of that. But I don't think that was the case here, and I think there was a layer of protection. But I'm happy you raised that concern, and I think Sharon, knowing Sharon, will probably be able to move that in the future. I don't remember Tim. I know that's kind of a cop out. I don't like to be a cop out kind of guy, but I don't remember how we voted. I believe my memory is we just approved what the recommendations were and what the commissioners approved, right? I don't think we had discussions on who should receive it versus like who got the monies that we did.
Well, there's a real fine line there with conflict.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree.
And there's been 2 times prior to this one that the council has approved the opioid funds. This was before your time, Sharon.
True.
Yes, it is, Sharon.
Pardon me?
Just find those minutes, Kay, because
You
council
find them.
has
I remember
never,
the meeting because I remember one time
I'm
Sharon
telling you,
abstained from the
council
vote.
has never
Sharon abstained from the
appropriated,
vote.
council has never appropriated those
Never.
opioid funds.
And we have.
When was those, Kay?
Before, it was, before Sharon was one time, and then there was one time when Sharon was here because she abstained from the vote.
I don't remember that at all. But my thing is, the opiate settlement's only been going for like 4 years. And I've been on council for 4 years.
I also talked to DMHA, and they said the same thing, that the process that we do down here is not the process that they recommend. So
They may not recommend it, but that is our process that we do here. And that's up to the commissioners and the city mayor. That's on them, not county council.
Well, the way they do it is not, the best practices that DMHA sent down is not being followed.
Well, I guess, law trumps process, so I would like to know what the law would say.
As far as conflict,
No, over
That
opiate
and the
settlement.
process in which it was done and I don't know, is there a lawful process? Or is it policy? Because law will trump policy.
I'm not a part of the committee that decided which entities shall get it. It's my understanding that we had several individuals score all the projects. They essentially got the application from all the entities. They individually took them home and scored them. Then they returned with all of them individually having them scored, and then added them up. There was no discussion, it just added them up, and that was their advice to both the county and the city on how to distribute it. It seems, I'm not sure right now off the top of my head what the actual, if there's a requirement for a process. That does seem like a pretty fair process to me. That's my understanding, that there wasn't like they didn't get in a room and say, we like these guys, we don't like these guys. They all individually took the scores home and scored
Well,
them.
hopefully that's it.
Well, that's, and I agree, but I think that's the way it went, and so that seems pretty reasonable to me. I mean, it'd be hard, and I'll be completely honest, whether Ms. Cranfield should or shouldn't have voted on it, clearly her entity is one that would be a very easy score in that regard. And I can speak very highly of her program in comparison to other facilities, so.
Just concerned me, so I asked the question.
I understand, and it's not not an out-of-line question, so.
How many programs like yours, Sharon, do we have here in Fayette County?
One.
One? There was 2 altogether counting yours then?
No, just
No,
hers.
it would be, I'm the only women's, and then there is a men's.
Okay.
Maybe a comment just going forward for all of us, or the ones that are gonna maybe be here in the future. Unless you asked, maybe we should have been more transparent and actually, if it was coming before us, which I don't know if it should have or shouldn't have, or has or hasn't. But since it did, we really didn't explain maybe who the actual recipients were. Maybe we should have elaborated.
They had not yet voted on the recipients at that point, because until they knew how much money there was available,
Oh, okay.
they hadn't.
Oh,
So see, that's why I
Monday,
can't
they
remember what
released
we've
it.
been voted on then, like, that's what I'm.
I think we just accepted that we would take the money from them.
Here is all it is, an additional appropriation to opioid
So if you do
unrestricted
that, if they
fund,
give you money, you take it?
1238,
Oh,
account
okay.
30200,
settle.
contractual services in the amount of $13,760.83, and an additional appropriation to opioid restricted fund, 1237, account 30200, contractual services in the amount of $64,058.74 was presented. Councilman Nobby moved to approve the additional appropriations as presented. Councilman Bevington seconded the motion, and motion carried 6-0. That's all. I don't even know what we were appropriating, so. And to me, when things like this is said, you all throw the word transparency around. I mean, really, to throw this out there to make another council member look like they're doing something negligent, I got a problem with that. And you all got a major problem the way you handle things. That's my opinion. Transparency, look at my books. I'm a 501c3, go look at everything that I turn in. I get audited. I don't, and you can smile, you can think
All I did
that's-
was question the process.
Okay, but the
We don't
question.
really need any more explanation.
But
I just
The
question
question
the process.
makes people think that I'm doing something I'm not supposed to. And I got a problem with that.
I'm sorry you do, but that's your
Yeah.
problem, not mine.
Well, you brought it up, so moving on. Since we've had discussion on the minutes of last meeting, does anyone have any other conversation, or do you want to make a motion to approve them?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Do we have any mail that we need to go over? Okay. Do we have anything from our county attorney?
Not yet, I'm sure you will later.
Looks like it. Okay, reports. Do we have any committee reports that anyone would like to report on?
I emailed the alcohol report to everybody.
Okay. Are there any other reports? Okay.
I wasn't sure on that. Can you forward that to me first?
Yes, I will. Okay, commissioner representative, do we have someone here? Yes, Mr. Munson.
Okay. Today, pretty quiet day, actually. We had 3 144s. I'll let them tell you about them. We did approve a grant application from Emergency Management Wade Walling. Let's see, what else did we do? We approved an appraiser for the courthouse for insurance purposes on the courthouse. And on September 19th, we approved the health department for their annual health fair. And then we also approved a bridge coordinator. We appointed over to Chris Ginninger down to County Highway. And that was about all we had for the day. Got any questions?
You can finally get to do the appraisal.
Matt
Napoli?
Yeah.
Neopody?
Yeah, Napoli out of Richmond, okay.
Yep. Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Gail. Okay, our 144s, we are going to start with our treasurer, Jamie Durham, and he is looking for a full-time and a part-time employee.
Thank you, Ms. Sharon. And got some stuff I want to pass out to each one of you to have a better understanding why I'm coming before you guys. And as me and Jeff were discussing about getting creative, I have spoken with State Board of Accounts and did get some more clarification and actually better understanding. Thanks, sir.
Thanks, sir.
So after collaborating with the State Board of Accounts, to have a better understanding of the functionality and the liability that Treasurer's Office could be held liable for. It is my duty to make sure that we do not, have more liability against us for non-compliant issues. So as you can see on the first page here, it says it's the treasurer's responsibility to properly assess risk, monitor internal controls, and adjust those controls, risks to change and ensure the public funds are protected along with the integrity of your office. Because the treasurer oversees the county treasurer, it is the treasurer's duty to ensure internal controls are both properly implemented and function efficiently and effectively. So with that being said, you can still read throughout the rest of it. And where I come to this here, I've spoke with Stacy and I spoke with Michael, State Board of Accounts, the attorney. I'm coming for a full-time deputy because if I have a part-time, I cannot leave the office. I no longer get vacation and so forth. So therefore, I don't feel that that's fair, but we had to have checks and balances in the office. The one thing I will say, after the last meeting, every commissioner was in my office at least 3 times, wanting to know what they could do to help me out. They understood the urgency and so forth. Miss Jane, her office, immediately, as she stated the last meeting, they're there to help. And they were all hands on deck and greatly appreciated, helped me along through the way, which was able to give me some insight how everything truly functioned. So I kind of got thinking, Mr. Jeff and I were discussing getting creative. So the reason I got creative, and as you guys mentioned the last time, you're looking to cut some budget at 15%. Okay, I have complied to that. I've taken the part-time from being all year and a 10,000 budget. I've reduced it to 5 months, and that's going to be seasonal. I feel seasonal is more efficient because we're doing the actual tax time, receiving the monies, so forth like that there. We're busy. Fall's probably not going to be near as bad. This will be my first experience on that. So that's why I projected that we go with a seasonal instead of a full-time, part-time type deal. I hope you guys understand that.
How much money is that saving?
We went from 10,000 to 85.
Okay, so $1,500.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And like I said, I'm trying to be compliant with you all.
Right.
It's easier to work with each other instead against each other. So this
No
is why.
one's trying to work against you.
Yeah.
By no means.
Yeah, so that's why I got it, and then on the second page, you'll see I've got here, the essential of having the treasurer's first deputy, okay? This all is backed by State Board of Accounts. So the other thing I want to bring to you, you'll see on the back here, this chart, okay? This is going to show you department head counts. Now, there are some in there that's going to have some part-time in there. But I'm giving you an example of a head count. We have an auditor with 5, and the clerks, I believe, was 6. Then I had the recorder's office with 4. The assessor's office, I didn't get the exact, but I'm guessing 5 to 6, if that's correct, yeah?
4.
4, okay.
1 part-time.
4 part. And then my office with 1. So that's where I feel it's essential, and this is an exceptional situation. As you guys said, you know, there are exceptions to the hiring freeze. That's why I come to you as a full-time deputy, so I can do my functions going off-site as we got oncoming tax sales coming up. I have conferences, and I do wish to take a vacation this year. So that's why I hope this kind of laid things out a little bit better for you, other than, you know, hearsay. I'd rather have the facts in front of you. So therefore,
Are you, on your little chart, are you saying that's the elected official plus the count you're saying there, or the count?
that is with the elected officials.
The elected official is
Yeah,
in the count?
when I said the head count for the office, that's including the elected official.
Okay.
Is the clerk's
So-
office right, Jane? I thought there were 7 in
And she's been down short since October of last year. She hasn't had a replacement for one of our people.
So that's why I feel it's very important that I have the people to run this office efficiently. I really wish any of you would have came into the office and asked those questions truthfully, instead of just shooting from the hip. Is what does it truly take? What's the responsibility? What are your checks and balances? I just, like I said, I need to protect the county from any liability. So I hope I've laid everything out. If you guys have questions, please let me know.
Did you go into the voting issue as well?
Excuse me.
What did you say?
I said, touch on the voting issue as well.
Oh, yes, and that was another thing that I actually spoke with Michael, and you can see Jeff on the kind of last page by Michael here. You know, if my wife was allowed to vote on
Where
this,
are you at?
it's kind of on the last page of the first pamphlet I got you. That'd be Michael Roker.
Yeah.
So he said there is nothing in the books that she cannot. Now, we did discuss, and as Jeff, he was witness with me and you talk, if it had to do with my salary, absolutely, I expect her to step aside. But this has to do with the treasurer's office. This is your guys' responsibility. And that's why he sent me the email.
And I'll address that. There's not gonna be a statute that specifically says if you're whatever, right? It is my advice, they're my clients, and it is my strong advice to my client that is a difficult situation for her to vote in, and she should not do it. Now, whether or not she agrees to that, that's ultimately up her decision. I'm offering legal advice. She gets to do what she wants to do. I don't in any way think it's a good idea, and I know it's not voting for your salary,
That's correct.
but it's voting for your office's budget. It's voting for, it's just, in my world, it opens it up for a lot of issues, but.
Well, with all due respect though, you gotta understand is I still have a budget that I'm working with. So I'm trying to
Right.
replace that.
But is your argument, and this gentleman who says, you know, they always like to, they don't ever say this is the truth, they say check with your local attorney.
He
And
said,
I- okay.
yeah, that's correct. And he said, you can
right.
advise.
There's not specific, but, so if you came in here and said, I want a $10,000 pay raise, it's your belief she could vote for that as well?
No,
What's the distinction?
because it is reflected directly to me. The treasurer's office is not, I'm managing it, but the treasurer's office is the county's treasurer's office.
Well, but my concern is you get into nepotism, you get into these conflict of interest, and it's, the whole point of nepotism is not just financial either, it's control over, it's, you know, titles. You know, somebody can't change your wife can't change your title, she can't promote you, she can't demote you.
Yeah, but I still think she's due the responsibility.
She's welcome to
uphold
vote if
on
she
that.
would like. I've offered
I
my
understand.
opinion.
Yeah, I appreciate
I
it.
have a question.
Legal advice.
Right.
Yeah, I got you. Oh, no.
And I respect your,
Sure, I mean, yeah, I'm,
but I have a question, so then that leads to, I'm not on the finance committee, but when they bring whatever is at the end, am I allowed to vote on that?
yeah, I think that's a
Or,
distinction.
and then that leads to, if I'm not, am I allowed to be on the council? Because that's kind of like our whole job. I mean, so
Well,
I guess.
I mean, I
Not
think.
for one office, Connie.
Not for one office.
One office?
Well,
We
that,
got
but
many offices
But
here.
we vote to do the whole budget at the same time, which includes his office. I mean, depending on how you look at that.
Yeah.
I mean, I would be voting for that,
Connie, there are complications.
yeah. I'm just,
And it's the one,
Right.
and it's the one, I just kind of explained that earlier. I'm an error on the side of caution with conflicts and those kind of issues. And that's a very real thing in today's society.
I get, because that is money, that is money. I mean, it's kind of a separate issue. Like, if we were to have been doing budgets like we did do them, and I was gonna sit here and he was gonna sit over there, I mean, we weren't having a vote at that point, but it all kind of funnels into, and then we approve it all at once, and I was okay to do that, correct? Right?
I mean, you're approving his budget, his salary.
So what you're saying is I.
Again,
I
here's
should
the
really
thing.
take, I'm
Here's the
not
thing.
allowed to
There's
vote.
not, this is one of those gray areas where there's not gonna be a specific law on it. There's not, I can't look at a statute that says like you can or you can't, okay? I'm just trying not to put you in a position
I
that
totally
causes it.
understand
You
that.
see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it.
And so when it's kind of, I mean, it's a decision you have to make, a determination you have to make. I don't know of any law that says you can't vote on this. That's correct, 100%. I don't know if there's any
Well,
law.
I mean, I'm doubting that. I'm doubting he's gonna get a raise, just because we don't have a whole lot of money, you know, but, so, will you advise me to vote on the budget later?
I'll advise you to vote on each individual. I don't know, I can't recall
We
if
don't
we,
vote on individual,
we just vote on the entire budget.
We
do
do.
we?
Yeah,
Individual?
you do page by page,
Yes.
department by department, and then
Absolutely.
once each department has been, then you, like, you're actually signing the paper for the budget as a whole, but as we go through
Right.
page by page.
Okay, well, but I'm not in on that at this point.
Well, of course you will be.
Yes, you
Oh,
will
okay,
be.
at
Yeah.
the end.
When
Okay.
budget
Okay.
hearings begin.
Okay.
in
And so I'll
August.
just kind of like.
You absolutely, obviously,
Okay.
there's no issues with any other department.
Okay, no,
If we can handle it to where you
It's just
don't
how I would
vote on his budget, and
practically
his
thinking
individual
about it.
department, that seems to make sense to me.
Yeah.
And then I would like to think, when we get to the end, we've got a budget we're all gonna vote for, that it really won't be that big of a deal to not.
I'm sure.
You follow me? I'm not telling you you're doing anything illegal by voting, okay?
Yeah.
I'm just telling you that if you're asking my opinion, my legal opinion, it is my legal advice to not vote on anything that has to do with your husband's office. Now, I'm not saying, and I don't disagree with the letter he got, that when he says, I'm unaware of any law that says that requires a recusal. No. But if you and I wind up in a courtroom someday and I'm representing you, it's a heck of a lot easier for me to say, hey, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's my.
So, and another thing I want to bring to you guys' attention is that's why I keep reiterating the importance of the full-time deputy.
I get it. You don't have to argue the fact with me.
I appreciate that,
totally-
I truly do.
I totally get it. That's how the office has been ran efficiently, and so that's,
Trust
I
me,
get it.
I'm learning.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with it. I'm just,
Well, I'd like to say something, because I want to keep the county's interests at heart, and I don't want to get myself in trouble. And so I will probably not vote, but I hope this council takes into consideration, and no offense, but after the last meeting, I got thinking that, you know, we prioritized an extension office secretary above a full-time person in the county treasurer's office that takes in millions of dollars and handles millions of dollars for this county. And then we hired people after the hiring freeze, and we backfilled offices after the hiring freeze. And
we
yet,
have replaced, we have not.
well, not hired, but we replaced,
We have
which was
replaced.
the same, is the same thing.
Right.
These people were not truly attrition. They did not quit. They did not retire. It was already budgeted.
I agree.
And they're definitely, the office is definitely not heavy.
Yeah,
By no means. When you have one person in there, it's not heavy at all.
compared to someone that has 6.
There are actually 7 in the clerk's office, I looked it
That's what
up.
I thought.
There
I
are.
thought it was 7.
Okay,
I was thinking it was 7 and went down to 6, but apparently it was 8 and went to 7.
Yeah.
okay. Thank you for the clarity.
Yeah, well,
I thought I
actually,
had
after
it.
you said that, I pulled up payroll to see.
I don't personally know them, but I thought there was 7.
I
Yeah,
was just
Okay.
remembering the people I
Okay,
seen, so.
we're
therefore-
moving on.
Yeah,
Does
So-
someone want to make a motion
I want,
to?
just got some
Yeah.
clarity. So you said you, by reducing and making your part-time seasonal, that will reduce your budget by 15%?
No, 1,500.
1,500, and then I'm working on, I've already submitted my budget, and there's reduction in there.
A total of 15%?
Yeah. Yeah, and that's like I said, I'm just trying to honor what you guys asked last time and so forth, and like I said, work with you.
So the part-time is a 1,500 reduction, but overall in the budget you've turned in, there's a 15% reduction.
And that's where I felt that, I felt compliant with you guys. And I felt good about it.
And then, do you think you'll be able to find seasonal help?
Yes, yeah, yeah. Because I'm just, like I said, I'm kind of under the time clock, guys, because November's coming and I've got to have people, staff.
Do you
to-
already have someone in mind?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So you're asking for 1 full-time, 1 part-time seasonal.
Correct, seasonal. And please understand, seasonal is 5 months. There may be a chance that I may not need that 5 months. I've built that cushion in there in case something happened, I had to go to a conference or had to go somewhere. They could come in and we'd still have 2 in the office to stay compliant. So that could fluctuate and save some there as well.
You might want to also add about the being closed
Yeah.
feature. The,
Yes,
In the past.
The 2, and in the past,
Yeah.
the 2-week shutdown to process on-time payments is, I'm done with that. There's no sense, when I have these people in the office, we will be able to process as they come in, as they should. That's right to the citizens. And, they can't come in here, some people, okay, I missed my payment, I gotta come in here, lunchtime, guess what? Door's closed, can't come in. So that's why I want to encourage and help the citizens, because I've heard the comments and questions that they have. So by reducing
So
that,
do you close for lunch?
at this present moment, I do. But
Because you're the only one in there.
that's correct.
What, I want to ask you a question.
Sure.
When she was talking about, what do you call it, backfill? Like,
yeah,
yeah.
we filled a secretary and then backfilled a part-time. Elevated a part-time to a full-time and then backfilled a part-time.
I mean, but through the, you were talking about replacing what was already budgeted.
Yes.
Yeah. I guess I don't understand, like, even though it's replacing one that's already budgeted, why don't you take opportunity of not refilling that? To cut down on, so no one has to get fired, laid off. I mean, and the clerk's got 7, why can't we transfer one of those people to his office?
Well, that's something that will happen in the budget. I mean, the budget is already there. I'm not going to tell the office how to run it. That's up to them. And then when the department heads get with us on our finance committee, that can be discussed. Do you want to go up there and tell them to fire someone or let someone go?
I said, why don't you take someone from the clerk's office and transfer is what I said.
Do you want someone from the clerk's office, or do you want someone that you want to hire yourself?
I prefer the ones I hired. Those were my choices. I kind of had some criterias that
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure that I had the right team that will be
Exactly.
functional and everything
And
else
it's
like
essential
that
that the department head decides who they hire and who they don't.
Okay. Any other questions?
Does someone want to make a motion on this? No discussion?
I'll make a motion to approve one full-time, one part-time seasonal for the treasurer's office.
I've been very anti-replacing everything, everybody knows that, just because we're trying to cut, but if you're making your 15% cut and you reduce that by 1,500, I could get behind that.
Gabe, he didn't make a 15% cut. He's actually, his budget request is 7,000 higher than last year.
Oh,
Really?
I'm not
Last year's approved budget was 101,538, and what you've requested is 108,526.
And that's after the correction on the iron mark? And I was mistaken then. I will have to go back and look into it. And there, speaking of, there is one thing that I have discovered. Our receipts that we print out for the taxpayers after they pay their taxes, I've got to look this up because that's kind of irrelevant in my eyes because we could be using regular paper. You all get receipts, it's on regular paper. We have some that is perforated, it's color coded and everything, it looks nice. But you know, that comes with a cost. And I just discovered that today. And I'd be willing to bet that's gonna exceed. I'll get the numbers and stuff and me and Jane will go over it and see. But I think that'd be a significant savings on there. Because I was not aware of it.
Jane,
I thought that was just a standard protocol that we had to have that,
Yeah.
if you
but
take,
couldn't find that
if
much.
you're taking seasonal, if you're taking a part-time down to only like 5 months or so, that's surely more savings than 15.
$1,500.
Are you sure it's not 15,000?
No, he
It's
said
gotta be more than
1,500.
1,500.
Yeah,
It's
see, it was.
15. Last year's part-time
was
was
10.
10,000, and this year he's requested 8,500, so it's a $1,500.
$1,500.
How,
So what
kind of hours was part-time in there? It always
I
been
don't know
so-
what he wanted as part-time. He said 5 months, so.
5 months, but that's at 14, so I did not calculate that right, Jamie. I apologize,
No,
you
that's
just
fine. I
said
had
something that
double-checked
just
the
caught
numbers
my
on that.
attention
I was
because,
just saying, when you said you reduced your budget, I just kind of, and you were repeating that, and I
Yeah.
just wanted to correct it, that it's actually a higher budget request than the prior year.
but, okay, so,
So what's the difference?
He's requested a raise for himself, a raise for his first deputy. He did reduce the part-time line, but he's got an overtime line in here. Postage is higher, travel and training is higher, meeting expenses higher, and service contracts are higher. So every line, with the exception of the part-time line, is an increase.
the part-time is, I've got submitted, and you guys should see there, I apologize, Jane, on that behalf there, because that's set at $14.40 an hour. And if I'm doing that at 5 months, we'll see the correction there, and that will exceed the 15%. So that was my mistake on that behalf.
So if he went with last year's budget that he used, submitted that, he would have his 15%, right?
If you're talking about reducing the budget as a whole, he would have needed to cut his request by about 15,000. Not like 1,500.
1,500's only 1.5%.
Yep.
What is his last year's budget, is my question.
$101,538.
And what's it doing this year?
$108,526.
So the difference is so if he used last year as the 101, what percentage would that be?
No, I mean, simple math, he'd have, if he's doing, we're holding everybody to the 15%, he'd have to cut 23,000 off the one he sent.
Right. The 7 plus the 1,500. Well, I don't think it's possible for every department to cut 15%.
How do you do that? With postage, almost $1 a stamp.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, and I've already, I already reached out to our tax preparer on the statements and stuff, And they give me an estimate what it, and they said, Jamie, that could be light. So that's why Jane and I got together to discuss that there, because that is gonna go up. But, you know, reiterating after Jane brought it out, that was my mistake on the budget for 8,500, because I was calculating for 1445 months. So we all can do the simple math on that there, know that's gonna be a lot lower.
He can't be by himself. I think you're
I
correct.
don't think anybody's arguing that, and the only reason I even said anything is I just feel like for you know, transparency, I couldn't sit here and let him say he did 15% cut and Gabe repeat that he did 15% cut when he didn't do a 15% cut, that's all.
No one's arguing that he needs the help. That's
Yeah,
not the point.
I mean, the motion's been made, and I just, when Gabe was seconding it, I feel like if I sit here letting him say something I know isn't true, that's not
I agree.
fair
I agree.
to anybody.
But I think
Now,
What kind of-
I mean, I would
what
go
kind of
on the
meshing?
record of saying, I absolutely think the man needs a full-time and a part-time, absolutely. I mean, and our office has been helping him out, and I mean, you just cannot function with one person in an office. If it's no more than, you know, Facebook and you're being bashed because you're not answering the phones. Well, okay, he's one man, so if he's on a call with somebody else, or he's waiting on the customer in front of him, he can't get to the phones. I mean, absolutely. He needs a person.
How long
And
have
then
you
you're
been with the two gone? How long have they gone?
Since June.
Since
1st.
June?
June 1st. Yeah. And trust me, it's been a struggle to try to keep up with the
Oh,
calls.
we've
and
gone 5 or 6 weeks without paying two people too. That's a savings, isn't it?
everything. That's correct. Thank you for
Throw it
bringing that
in
out.
there.
Appreciate you, Bob. but-
50% right there.
Huh?
If you total up to 15, if you want to total up.
So,
already
but
saying?
yeah.
Well, you gotta put everything to account. I mean,
I think,
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Well, I think you're meshing the two things. I mean, are we gonna ask the next two 144s about their budget as well and depend upon it?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
don't we just pick on him?
I mean,
Well, I just
I've been
mean-
very consistent. I mean,
Do we always, have we always done that? Every 144? I mean.
It's 1933 if I remember.
So,
There's a motion on the floor.
Yeah, there's a motion on the
And I
floor.
second.
Pardon me?
I second it.
Okay. So,
Roll call.
I would encourage a roll call.
roll call. Okay.
Durham?
I don't agree, but I'm gonna respectfully not vote.
Okay.
Riker Payton?
Yes.
Patterson?
Yes.
Nobby?
no.
Stewart?
Yes.
Bevington?
No.
Greenfield?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries 4-2.
I'd be interested to see what the savings has been for 5 weeks. Just curious. It is a factor. Not an easy, it's a factor.
Jamie, I appreciate you. You've done your job.
I have,
And you haven't
I don't
complained.
give up.
You've just done your business. I appreciate you.
well,
Thank you.
and that's what we, you know, signed up for, is we're after the
Right.
community. It's not personal,
Right,
anything like that there. It's about our
that's right,
community.
that's right.
Exactly.
Okay,
So,
Yes.
thank you.
all right, sir, thank you.
Okay. Our next 144 is with Assessor. Is Jeff still here?
And to step out, he's having a medical issue.
Jeff, we're ready for you.
Here.
He's here.
Sorry.
Okay. Assessor Jeff Coleman.
Try to hide the fact I'm a diabetic, but sometimes I misjudge my carb intake. So, I took some sugar packets, I should be okay.
Alrighty.
It's already starting to climb.
Thank you.
Sorry for all the papers, but you know, I document everything I do.
Thank you.
And I document everything I don't get done.
I know the feeling well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, Again, like everyone else, I'm here to ask for help. The 144. Again, this first page, this first group of pages, this is my timeline I use to, we don't have any downtime in the assessor's office. There's no off-season or anything like that. There's just the next project. So as you can see, I use a checklist. My assistant assessor, who held a level 2 certification, as an assessor, there are certain parts of our job that can only be done by someone who holds a certification. And so beginning in January, she lost her child care services. And so she had to, I tried to work with her, I tried to honor the hiring freeze. I accommodated her in every way possible. But as you can see, as time progressed, January, February was okay. March, she started to, she would miss, missing work, or we'd have to have the kids in the office, or, I did whatever I could to try to keep her because she was very good at her job. By the time April and May got here, it was clear that we were getting behind, and after a conversation, and she was offered a job with the actual company that where she kept her kids at the daycare center. And so she took that job, and I lost my assistant assessor. So that means I'm the only one in my office with the certification. I'm the only one in my office that can do certain things, and I am officially behind. The second group of papers is the reassessment report. It's a monthly report. As you can see, during the month of June, or June 1st, which means during the month of May, that we had 0 reassessment parcels completed. During the month of July, or during the month of June, July 1 report, we had some parcels inspected, but none of them data entered. Now, my big concern is August 1st, there's the state legislature passed a law a few years ago requiring benchmarks to be met by the county assessor's office across the state. So as of August 1st, Fayette County needs to have 1,209 parcels reviewed and data entered into our software system by August 1st. That's 3 weeks. As of July 10th, our benchmark would be 1,008. As you can see.
How many need to be completed by August 1st?
By August 1st, 1,209 parcels. That would be, if you look at that last column on the report, where all the zeros are, those numbers should add up to 1,209. As you can see, we've got nothing done. And I need to have a full-time person in my office to help get us caught up.
That's because you lost the assistant assessor classification person.
Mm-hmm. Pardon?
That's because you lost that person that had that
Yes.
certain assessment.
What I'm asking though in return is I don't want to replace the assistant assessor. We don't pay them enough, I can't keep them. I've had a couple, they've been perfect, they've been great. But in the end, they only made $331 more than a clerical staff member. I can't keep them. I mean, they have to have 199 hours of training to do that job. And I can't keep one. So just give me, if you would give me another co-mot job, a second deputy of some kind that can do clerical work, then I could get this caught up.
What is the second deputy's pay?
It is $28,169 starting pay.
Don't you have other funds though? Can you draw from those funds to hire this person?
I don't have enough to
How much are
cover
you short?
that. I'm short about, well, when you get my budget, you'll see I've already moved everything out of county general that I can move. So I no longer have that leeway in the reassessment fund or the sales disclosure fund. The reassessment fund, I think I had at the end of last year 44,000 left over, which 44,000 wouldn't cover even this job. Once you consider the benefits package and all
If
that.
I remember right, 4 years ago, the assessment company was coming in for $400,000. They do their own assessing. We decided to do our own assessing on it. They put it together for us. We signed a contract for $361,000 with them. Well, we've been better off letting them do the assessing.
No. We are not doing reassessment in-house. We are doing data entry in-house. So those zeros on that far right column is my staff in the office. That is our responsibility.
Is it costing us less money hiring our own than we'd be able to let them do it? Or are we not getting them taxes we should?
They were never contracted to do data entry. In Fayette County, even my predecessors never contracted data entry to be done by a contractor.
So you were doing.
We've always
you were-
done
we were-
in-house.
At the time, I wasn't involved. The county was paying X amount of dollars, plus you were doing.
Jane, remind me, didn't we hire an assessor 4 years ago to do our own assessing?
No, we've had this conversation last year.
I know.
No,
Okay.
that person came in, I can tell you the effect of that person it's in my budget materials, not this one. 2018, when I came into office, the reassessment fund was at $172. It's $172.4 in 2018. My first year was 2019. The budget I'm bringing to you this year is $174,000, which is less than 1% increase in my 8 years. That's what that person helped us do. It's kept the cost of reassessment down overall. So in 8 years, the reassessment cost has only increased a little over $1,000. I think $1,050. And that's what that person helped us do. But as far as the contract for the data collection, that's in place. It's they can do it a lot cheaper than I would have had to hire 3 more people full time to do what they do.
Well, this has nothing to do with you, but we signed a contract with them for $361,000.
That's kind of irrelevant right now. I mean, I don't know how else to explain it. They are doing their job. It's that last column I'm concerned about. With the zeros, that's done in-house. That's done by my office.
This column doesn't.
Jeff, can you confirm something?
Yeah.
Jamie's office head count, 5 or 6, is it?
It's neither.
Okay.
If he was counting me, there's
The
me.
perpetuation fund people, is
Yeah.
that what?
If you're counting me, there's me. I have Katie Poe, second deputy. I have Debbie Coleman, second deputy. And I have an assorted allotment of reassessment clerks that work very little part-time. That one I'm changing to when I present my budget. But
So how many are coming out of county general?
2. And me,
2?
3.
3.
Me and the 2 second deputies.
2 full-time.
Okay,
Three
wait, I'm
full-time.
sorry, I gotta backtrack. The position I lost came out of county general, okay? They received $28,000. They were never given an increase, but everybody else got increases. That position was never given an increase. And that's why I lost them. They do earn a $500 certification bonus, which is, kind of ridiculously low. But that is also county general. What I'm asking to do,
3 full-times though, right? Including you?
yeah, currently, yes, there's me and 2 second deputies. What I'm asking for is another deputy and not an assistant assessor.
What happens if August 1st, this this is not done, do we get fined? Do we?
I could be brought up before a committee at the State House, which is fine. What I would really like to do is that you see the box on that report at the bottom?
Yes.
What I'm really hoping you'll let me do is I could put in there, yes, we are behind, but the county council has approved my staff and I no longer have these issues and we will get caught up. That's what I'd like to put there. But I gotta have your permission to do it.
I can go back to another question.
Mhm.
So 3 full-times, and then do you have part-times?
Part-time is paid out of the reassessment fund.
Okay.
So
And they don't do any of this work?
they do the transitional work, data collection brings from the vendor, brings the packets into the office. Reassessment clerk assists in transferring that data and prepares it for the staff to data enter. Now, that job consists of taking the pictures that come from the field work and labeling them and attaching them to the parcels. The other part of that is there's a condition audit. So as the data collection is out in the field, they make notes on condition of a house or any structure really. And then that reassessment clerk takes that packet, that property record and does the math on the condition sticker. It takes the opinion out of condition and gives a more objective point of view. So that's what the reassessment clerk does.
So you can't get by with another reassessment person?
Pardon?
You couldn't get by with another part-time reassessment person?
I've got 4. I'm behind. I have 4.
So that's the number 4.
I can't get people to show up to work. Because it's part-time. I couldn't keep the assistant assessor because it wasn't worth their, they get paid more doing childcare, they get paid more. I lost somebody to a church, they went to go work for their church.
Your 4 get paid out of the perpetuation? Your 4 get paid out of the perpetuation?
My reassessment clerks get paid out of the reassessment fund, yes.
Reassessment.
Yeah,
Sorry, I'm calling it the wrong thing.
that's okay. A fund that I've not increased in 8 years. I did have 1 year it was high, but then.
But it's not county general.
Okay, not county
It's
general.
kind of like
So that's why I'm not asking for anybody for that position right now.
So you want one full-time person
One full-time person
out of county general?
out of county general.
Do
And
you have someone in mind? Do you have?
no,
No,
no, I'll be advertising and
you'll have to train.
I do, well, I actually asked my 2 assistants if they would come back, but my previous assistant who left and went to go work for the church, but she's still making more money there than she would here, so. When she first took the job, it was $25,000. So I thought maybe now that it's 28, she might come back, but she still makes more at the church, so. But I have I'm gonna have to advertise
So their.
and train.
Their pay is 28,000. The second deputy.
Yes,
Okay.
but I really don't want to hire that position because then the training is, I don't have an ME to train someone else to do that job.
Okay. So I guess I'm confused then. So you're not hiring a second deputy or you're?
Okay, the assistant assessor that left, I don't want to replace another assistant assessor. What I'm asking is to take that funding and move it into a second deputy, someone who is clerical. The difference is a PAT job, which is the professional, administrative, technical, to a COMA job, clerical, office machines.
Okay.
Jane, what would be the difference in salaries?
Well, unfortunately, only about $331 because the assistant assessor never got included in the last increase.
How'd that happen?
Typo, I don't know. Water under the bridge kind of. It just didn't happen. But I think, you know, I've never, even Kathy Rose, my predecessor, didn't have a first deputy. I think maybe Sandy McQuinley was for the first few years, but yeah, there's no first deputy in the assessor's office because state law requires that a first deputy have the same certifications as the assessor. So we've never had one because no one wants to take 7 weeks out of their life and get certified. The only way I'm ever going to have a second deputy or someone who could take my place eventually is for them to be working in my office and get paid to get certified.
How much does that certification cost?
It was free if they worked for the county.
Oh,
I'm gonna throw in there really quick, because I feel like this makes it sound like I made a mistake.
No, you didn't
They
make a
didn't
mistake.
raise- No, and for 2025, that position was increased by $3,500. It
Yeah,
started out
you're
as
right.
25, and it went to 28.5.
I'm sorry if you felt like I
So,
was.
well, no, but I mean, they were given a raise.
I was trying to. Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, that's fine, but when it's questioned, I
But-
just want to be clear. that-
Yeah, they were taking the 28. The clerical staff is taking the 21 or 28,169. So what happened was the clerical staff gets paid more than someone who's a certified assessor. That didn't work out very well. And it's not Jane's fault. I'm not even convinced it's anybody's fault. It's just what happened.
Have you ever been this behind before?
No. I was 10 days late at the end of this year. We got Form 11s is the big thing. We got those out 1 day prior to the deadline. That's the closest I've gotten. If we end up being late on the Form 11s, the gross assessments will be questionable for 2 years after that. I mean, you won't know what's coming in if I'm ever late with the Form 11s. Those are the notice of assessments.
So that's our concern right now.
That's my concern, yeah, that's what everybody should be concerned about, because you'll get a number on your gross assessments and it can change the very next day for 2 years.
I have a dumb question.
It might not
I
be,
honestly do not understand what you do. I mean, I don't, you know,
it's okay.
I don't work in your office. Does that right column over there with all the zeros, does that work not getting done? Does that have anything to do with like, 'cause don't we have a fairly big list of like people who are contesting their assessments?
It has nothing to do with the appeals, if that's what
Okay,
you're
it
asking.
doesn't, so the two aren't the same
No.
job, or, I mean, it's not,
Well,
that's not hindering, either one's not hindering
no,
the other getting done?
in fact, the appeals, the only thing it does is the appeals get pushed aside.
So they do get,
They get pushed aside so that
they
we
get
can
pushed back,
focus.
they get pushed back,
Yeah, because
not priority.
they are not a priority, no.
Do I understand
The other thing that gets pushed aside is the management of the exemptions.
Do I understand correctly, what you're
Non-profit.
needing is data entry?
I need data entry persons, but they gotta understand what assessing does. Because you're in there and you're looking at, there's a big difference between a T2 and a T3.
So these zeros are all data entry?
They're all data
Is what
entry,
is
yes.
needed?
Yeah, thank you for asking that question, that's exactly what they are.
I make a motion, you get it.
Thank you.
Motion to hire somebody to help him with, huh? Full-time, yes. One.
Second.
So just so I'm clear, that will reduce them by $355?
I'm sorry.
That'll be a reduction of $355 from what the previous person was?
Yeah. It's not a big savings, but it's still.
I mean, we pay so little.
But,
It's- I don't know.
You will save in time because, like I said, training someone to do the assistant assessor job is 190 hours plus getting to understand local protocols. So we're talking tons and tons of hours spent in training someone. With a co-op position, a clerk, I could trust them to be at the front lines and helping people after 90 days. But the assistant assessor, a year and a half to train. So there's that savings. That reflects in the appeal cost. In 2019, when I first came in, I did a study on what it cost the county for each appeal. It was $48 average. Now it's $215. Most of that's personnel, because they've increased the amount of paperwork we have to do, they've increased the amount of reports we have to do, they've increased the number of steps we have to go through. Just in personnel alone, it's going to cost the county $25,000 of man hours for me to do the appeals this year. And I can't not do them, so. But it's all on me. I won't have an assistant to help.
Jane, can you confirm what we just motioned, like the position and the pay? What?
Well, the motion, Councilman Patterson moved to approve the hiring of a full-time deputy. The pay wasn't mentioned, but he just said a full-time deputy. Councilwoman Riker Payton seconded the motion. And I'm waiting for discussion to end.
But I mean, the person that he lost was making how much?
Okay.
What was the?
There's,
28.5.
Yeah, 28.5.
And what's the, theoretically, the new full-time pay?
Do you have that in front of you?
yeah, 28,169.
Okay, and this is gonna be benefits and everything, so that's gonna be more than 28.5.
Yes.
So
But we
benefits.
just look in
But-
salary to salary.
Both were
They
full-time.
were making
Salary.
28.5, and this person will be making 28,169, so $331.
It's not asking for more money. The budget was approved last year, the money's there. I just need your permission to spend it. And you know, the savings is a few $100.
Both full-time. They were both offered with benefits. Okay, yeah.
On this year's budget, have you been able to cut very much on this next year's budget?
Anybody that knows me already knows I cut 7,000 last year from county general. I cut 13,000 last year from reassessment. So the answer to your question is no. I'm not going to be able to do 15% because I've already been cutting. I've been cutting since I came into office.
So last year alone it was 20,000. You said 13,000 and 7,000?
Yeah, just
So
from
you've
those two
already-
funds, yes.
Yeah.
I've moved everything out of county general that I can. Because once I look at it and look at Indiana code, I did realize that I can use more sales disclosure fund for training, only training. I can't use it for my field work. So field work comes out of reassessment beginning next year, and training will come out of sales disclosure fund next year, which is, those are items that are currently this year in county general. So I've removed everything I can out of county general.
His request is about $4,000 less than the prior year.
Yeah, that's the best I could do. I mean, I've already been cutting.
And Jeff's done great cutting his budget almost
Yeah.
every year.
I really do. If I come and ask you for anything, it's because I'm convinced I need it. I don't pad my budget.
I
Thanks
really
for
don't like
saying
what the state
that.
has done to us.
I don't.
Want a roll call vote?
We ready? Roll call. Durham.
Yes.
Riker Payton.
Yes.
Patterson.
Yes.
Nobby.
Yes.
Stewart.
Yes.
Bevington.
Yes.
Cranville.
Yes.
7-0.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
You do a good job.
Thank you. I appreciate that too.
Yes, you do.
That's it. All right, thank you. Y'all have a good night.
Thank you.
I'm
Hope
gonna
you
go
feel
eat.
better too.
Sorry, Rick.
Okay. Superior Court Judge Paul Freed is on Zoom.
His car.
Judge
Hello.
Freed, if you'd like to go ahead.
Yeah, simple. My part-time staffer put in a notice, and I would just like permission to replace her with the existing funding that we have for the year. I advertise for that and replace the part-timer.
Any discussion?
County General, Judge.
Pardon me?
County General.
Yes.
County General.
I make the motion we replace the part-time for judge.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Nays?
No.
No.
Okay.
Did you say yes?
Yes.
Okay, so 5-2.
So moved.
Thank you.
Sorry, Judge.
Just as a side note, kind of sort of unrelated issue. As of the 19th of July, I'm going to have to, I've already notified her, lay off my second deputy for drug court, Miss Wedding, not because of any lack of performance, she's fantastic, but she was funded by the opioid grant, and we got none this year. Somehow, it's quite a mystery to me how one of the most successful drug courts in Indiana, one of the most successful drug courts in Indiana, didn't get any money
Doesn't make any
from the
sense.
opioid. So she's gone. I already told her I don't have any money to pay her. And then the state cut our regular drug court grant by about 2/3. So the program, just to alert you, we have enough money in program user fees. Those are the fees that are actually paid by the participants themselves, saved up, plus the grant money we did get. And if you put that together, we've got just enough to limp the program into Christmas next year. So drug court is over in Fayette County, Christmas 2027, unless something,
Unless you got opioid funds
Yeah.
next year?
huh?
What if you got opioid funds next year?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Because I did some calculations on losing a drug court, and if we did lose a drug court, those people would end up in the jail. It's over $100,000 more that we would be
It's a no-brainer.
without
It's a
drug court.
no-brainer. And at the state level, it's the same thing. I think you pointed that out at the local level. And I've sent emails to leadership at the state senate and the state assembly as well. I think it's just they don't know, because certainly if there's any hallmark of the current regime at the State House, it's fiscal responsibility, which I agree with. But this is not fiscally responsible at all. Just in our little town here, just our little drug court, something approaching $4 million worth of Indiana Department of Corrections expense I have saved them with this program since we've existed. $4 million.
That's a lot of money.
And they're grousing around with me over 70 grand. Listen, they're going to regret this. A year from now, the Commandant of the Indiana Department of Corrections is going to go to the state legislature and say there's a crisis, we're going to have to close 2 prisons, I'm out of money, we've got too many guys in here, and everyone's going to stand around with their hands in the air. And you know, what happened? Well, I know now what happened. I tried to tell, I wish some of you, if you have the ears of these people, would tell them, I think they're good people. I don't think they've got any maliciousness in them. The only way people this fiscally conservative would do something this dumb is because they just don't know the facts.
Right.
They just don't have the math. They got a lot of things to worry about. I understand this is just one piece of a huge puzzle. It's very difficult to know every detail of every line item in the state budget. I've tried to pass that information along to them. I wish some of you, I know, are friendly with influential people up there, to try to explain to them that their own Department of Corrections commissioner says it's $19,000 a year per inmate to keep someone in jail. Average sentence for a drug court participant is 6 years. So every time we graduate someone, on the average, we saved the state 6 times $19,000. And the biggest our grant has ever been was $125,000. We're almost at a break-even point if we successfully rehabilitate one person a year. And we're doing way better than that. Conservatively, drug court saves the taxpayer $4 for every dollar the taxpayer gives to drug court. We're a 400% return investment.
Yeah.
Minimum, conservative. And they're going to cut our program?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense, and I don't want to think ill of those people that are making those decisions. So that's why I have concluded that no one that they'll listen to or believe has sat down with them and told them. So if some of you have this type of influence or know the right people, would you please tell them? Would you please tell them? I didn't even get a response email from any of those people. So I parsed it out, and I didn't even get a response from any of the leadership. So I don't know what's going on. But that makes no sense. They're slitting their own throats as far as their budget. It might look good this year, but it's not going to look good in 27 or 28 when the state prison population goes through the roof.
Right.
And then, as Kay was saying, you know, at a smaller level, the same is true for our local jail, which you pay for. Because I get them out of there, into rehab, get a job, guess what? Pay some taxes, wow, and quit getting arrested.
Judge, the State House people don't want being questioned.
About his daily cost for my people, but they're not going to be out of his jail. They're going to be sitting over there waiting on bond because they can't make a bond, and they're just going to sit in jail waiting. So.
You tell me why we're still paying taxes a year in arrears. They don't want, they said we'll lose a year's taxes.
That's an odd thing too, I guess a subject for another day, but I agree that's a little odd. But, you know, I'm beside myself about this drug court thing. It's the greatest thing that I have ever participated in my entire life. Not to overstate it at all.
It is good, I agree, totally.
It definitely is a
It
good
is
thing.
the thing, of my entire 55 years on the planet, it is the thing that I am most proud of. If I had the one thing carved on my tombstone, if I dropped dead this evening, it would be the names of those people who probably were going to OD or end up in prison the rest of their life, that instead are out there happy, healthy, working, parenting their children rather than orphaning them. The stakes here are indeed life and death.
If drug court
I
goes,
don't know what to say. I can get pretty emotional about it. It's just awful what they're doing. And like I say, I don't want to, not casting personal dispersions on it. It's got to be, it just has to be, that they just don't know. They just don't know the proper facts, or they wouldn't do it.
if drug court was to go away, Judge, what would that cost the county? Is there cost involved
Yeah, I think
if that drug court goes away?
They cut us about 80. I think the state took about 80, and the opioid was about 40. So to replace what the state took away from us and what opioid didn't give us that they gave us last year, you know, you're looking at 120 something. I can get you.
What I'm asking is, if the drug court goes away, with those individuals that would participate in that program, what happens to them? And is there any cost to the county for those people that, because it's no longer there?
It's gonna cost us over $100
No.
grand.
$100 a year times 6 years.
Well, no, look, here's the deal on that. We're contractually bound to finish those who have started. So we're on a pause right now with entering new people in drug court. Because I said we have effectively 18 months of internal funding left to limp out our checking account to zero before the bank closed, okay? That just happens to be how much money we got left. And that just happens to be how long our program is. It's an 18-month program, which means those who are already participants this month in the program will be able to finish. But we can't start any people, you know, through the summer and fall, because then they won't have enough time to finish, and I won't have any staff with whom they might deal to finish up their 18 months. So we have just enough money to finish strong with who we have already in the program. We do not have money to be adding people.
Okay. when the
Judge,
program
I think
ends-
what he's asking is how much it's going to cost the county if this program goes away. And currently,
Oh, Sheriff, you
yeah,
can, you
yeah,
can, you can speak to that better than I
I sit on the drug court advisory board, and you average around 15 to 25 people on drug court. Those 20 people will be in jail. When they get offered a drug court plea, they jump on that because it's a pretty good opportunity. If they're not getting those pleas, they're going to sit in jail for 2 to 3 years. And 20 people in jail at the state rate is about $350,000 a year that it's going to cost the county to house these people. So
Plus medical, plus,
yeah, we're paying for their medical. And again, $42 a day is what the state says. It could be a little less, it could be a little more if they got medical problems. But to me, it's insane that the opioid money didn't go to drug court. Sharon's program's amazing, drug court's amazing. They both deserve it, but why it didn't go, I have no idea. If I was on the council, fiscally responsible is to fund drug court, because you give him $100,000, you're saving
Right,
$250,000.
right.
That's just in my opinion. That's for you guys to decide. But $42 a day, 20 inmates, it's going to cost about $350,000.
and that could
There you
grow.
go. I mean,
Yeah, medical problems. A lot of these guys, I mean, they go on drug court, and there's a lot of medical problems that they have to deal with.
They go to the hospital, gets them out of jail for a little bit.
We're going to pay for all of that. So, you know, that's another thing you have to worry about.
So what would be the cost if you came to us and said, we want you to fund it? What does it cost?
that's what I said, it's $120-some thousand to replace what we lost in the state grant and what we did not get this year in the opioid grant. You add them together, that's the money we need to run this coming year as we did last year. And that'd be, I can get you the exact number, but it's just north of $120,000, I think.
So I hear a lot of numbers and a lot of I thinks, and I think you're probably pretty close. Is there a way we can get that kind of like a hard copy, like spreadsheet, this is what it's going to cost, this is what we're saving, that kind of thing?
Sure.
Yeah.
That would be fantastic.
Yeah. And again, all we could go off is the state
Sure,
guidelines.
Sure.
yeah, we'll get that for you.
Thank you very much.
I mean, if you're bringing in fourfold,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's a no-brainer. Yeah.
So I would like you to think about that, and I respect the request for information. That's the exact kind of response, thank you. That's the exact kind of response I was hoping to get out of the state. I was hoping to get an email back saying, oh yeah? How's that? And,
Who
you
is-
know, have a chance to make the pitch. But,
Judge, who at the state level do you talk to?
well, I sent emails to the leader of the Senate and the leader of the State Assembly.
Okay.
So that's who I sent them to.
Okay.
Judge Freed, I was just going to ask you, since Ms. Wedding is going to be losing her position, would she be available for that part-time position that you're approved for?
She's grossly overqualified.
Oh, yeah, I know that.
And the question is, would she even want it?
Right,
My answer is, if she wants it, you're darn tootin' she can have it.
yeah.
I don't know that she would want it, but I would certainly, but yeah, no doubt about it, absolutely. For sure.
You say she's losing hers?
Pardon me?
That's what he said.
No, what Sharon said, the lady.
Yeah,
think they said as
the
of 19.
person that is the assistant drug court, she's the secretary,
One
yeah. She
What's
will
her name
be,
is what I was asking.
what?
What's her name?
Alicia Wedding. Yeah, she's definitely overqualified, but I know she really enjoys that job. So, I was just asking.
She's got all kinds of education. She's got a stack of professional certificates, football, and she's grossly underpaid in her current position with drug court, and
Yeah.
that part-time position pays less than half of that, so.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure she'd want to do it. It's almost insulting to offer it to her, but just in case she needed to pinch hit for a minute until she got a real job, so to speak, I would love to have her. I mean, she's vaguely familiar with the non-drug court stuff that goes on, and she does work with us up there. She knows the language, the terms, what's going on, and she's smart as a whip. That would be fantastic if she would do it, but I'm not sure about that. I'll have to talk with her.
Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks,
Judge.
Judge.
All right then. Sorry I couldn't be there in person. Thank you, folks. I'll be signing off. All right.
Bye. Okay, now transfers and additional reductions, additional appropriation to Community Corrections Trust Fund 1241 to account 20102, supplies in the amount of $40,000. Is that you, Ryan?
Yeah, there's no need for that. And they've always had a commissary fund. It's been Fund 9119 in the past, but the state passed a new law that as of July 1st, that it has to be titled Community Corrections Trust Fund, and it has to be fund number 1241, and it has to be appropriated. So this is really nothing new. It's just we're gonna move the money from 9119 into the new fund the state requires, 1241, and then the money that's in the past we were able to spend without appropriation, we now have to have appropriation. Okay, so that's how much Jolisa estimated we would need from now until the end of the year.
So we just need to make a motion to approve.
I move to,
Any reason why this state changed those numbers like that?
I have no idea.
I move to accept the additional appropriation as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
I love the state and their wisdom names it a trust fund, but then it explains it's not a trust fund. Then why did you name it a trust fund?
It's just what they do.
I mean, seriously, the very first page at Auditor's Conference of the PowerPoint presentation says not a trust fund. But there it is.
Old business, Kate Riker Payton wants to discuss the Finance Committee.
I sent you all an email because I wanted to step down from that appointment. And I have a question though. Is that, I can't make those dates anyway that you put out there. Is that gonna be recorded by tape or live stream or anything?
No,
And why is that?
it's not required.
Because it's in another room?
Yes,
So
it
was-
is open to the public and it was publicized.
Right, but was it, why was it moved to another room so it didn't have to be taped?
No,
Just a
we
more
moved
informal
into another
setting.
room because it,
More informal setting.
yeah, it's just a more informal setting. That's the whole idea. And we had our first meeting last night and it was great.
Who was at it?
It was Chris Gettinger and
CASA,
Michelle
Michelle
I mean,
Richards,
from the committee.
Gabe,
and
myself, and Jane.
Okay.
And then, well, Zach and Ryan Seegers and Jerry May, the new incumbent.
So there's not gonna be notes taken or anything like that?
I mean, the notes is on our budget. Yeah, there'll be notes, I'm sure.
I just thought, I didn't like the idea that the fact it wasn't being taped or recorded, so that's why I didn't want to participate.
And we respected that. So,
Who's gonna take my spot?
we have not brought that out yet.
Okay.
Would you
Oh.
say that those two are those two on well on their way to being done? Or have you?
we just
said it
met,
went
we've
well?
not really talked,
Oh.
like budget wise. We just met with them and talked and heard what they had to say.
Oh.
Not really discussed. There wasn't a lot of changes in either one of those that were, the highway had more than the other one, but it's not with county general where it's the biggest issue anyway, so.
Are you doing like round 2 with them?
Yeah,
or
round
is
2,
that the
or no,
one?
we're doing, so we'll just meet with him the first time, and then hopefully we'll have some information to present you guys a budget from there.
Another question I had, why are these hearings being held so early this year in July? We usually do them in August.
So we can present you a budget in August, and you can review it, and if we have other questions from those folks, the entire council can see it.
No reason
That's
to
good.
hide anything, total
No.
transparency.
It's just trying to do some
We're just trying
legwork.
to be simpler.
Try to do some legwork in the committees, use the committees appropriately, and then try to be cognizant of people's time. That's it.
Nothing states that it can only be done in August, does it? It can be done any month of the year, or worked on,
Yeah,
reviewed, or
Jane-
whatever, any month of the year, can it?
Jay knows that timeline, I don't know the timeline.
I'm talking about as far as just reviewing it.
Oh, yeah, you can review
Of course, back
anything.
in 2024, Budget and Finance Committee is July the 9th. So typically, Budget and Finance Committee does start meeting
In July.
My point was, we usually do budget hearings in August.
Say that again, I couldn't hear you.
I said we usually do budget hearings in August.
The budget hearings will still start in August. That's on down on your agenda.
Is that just gonna be a one day?
One evening.
It'll be how many ever days it takes.
Okay.
That's the day it starts. And if it requires more, then we add more.
Okay.
Saves on donuts.
All right. Good.
Is that, are you finished with your discussion?
Yes.
Okay. Moving on to new business. The first budget hearing will be August 11th at 6 p.m. That will be here, the full council. Budget adoption will be September 15th at 6 p.m. And tonight we have a guest, Jason Simler of Baker Tilly, and he has a presentation. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for being patient.
Jason Simler with Baker Tilly. We've been asked to come tonight and talk about the MUST program that the General Assembly put in place this session. So I have some PowerPoints, slides I want to hand out and kind of go through.
We started a library, we had those tonight.
Many of you probably have heard about the MUST, maybe through AIC. I know they have various webinars. So I'm really here just to try to answer some questions. So I'm not going to go through all these slides. This is really kind of a PowerPoint slide that we put together for a county who had decided they wanted to go through the MUST program, and they kind of had their initial kickoff meeting. So I put together these slides. So I thought I would just kind of incorporate these. So this has a lot of information that you can kind of take back and read yourself at your leisure. But I just want to kind of hit the highlights of some of these slides and then just hopefully answer any questions that you might have. So I'll kind of start on page 3, or really I guess page 5. The MUST that stands for Municipal Unit Strategic Task Force. Again, that was something that the legislators put in place as an opportunity for not only the county, but all the other elected tax units to kind of get together and collaborate on this new local income tax structure. And I'll talk a little bit more about that. We talked about the local income tax or lists, they're changing starting in 2029. They put that in place a couple of years ago. One of the things they did this last session was they delayed it. It was going to be in place in 2028, where the county council would have to make a decision next year on what those new local income taxes look like. They've delayed that now to 2029. So in 2028, when you're talking about doing your budget this year, you're not going to get more into details, but 2028, this board is going to have a significant more responsibility in basically the amount of revenue that is collected within the county and how it is distributed. So there's good and bad to that. So the MUST program is really kind of put in place to try to be proactive. One, to get you and this other cities and towns and an opportunity to meet, collaborate, discuss what are the needs of the various units. And then part of this MUST program, which is going to be a representative of, or the task force representative of county council, and then the clerk treasurers of the cities and towns within the county. That's all that is, per the statute, is part of the MUST task force. If you decide to go forward with this, it's not required, but if you decide to go forward with this task force, this group, this committee, decides on what's the best list structure and makeup that's the best for Fayette County. And then they're required to put together a formal report, submit that to the Department of Local Government Finance by December 1st. The LGF submits those to the legislators. And the thought process is, one, it encourages the county and the various units to get together, talk about the needs and priorities of the county. But it also gives the legislators an opportunity to hear from us to say, okay, does this new lit structure work for Fayette County? The goal is that this committee is supposed to come back with a unanimous decision on what this new lit structure is going to look like. I can tell you from working with other counties, that may not happen. And we're encouraging, if you don't come back with a unanimous decision, still prepare the report and file that you can't come to a unanimous decision and the reason why. And then if there's anything that you may need to tweak with the new lit structure, that might make it more palatable for Fayette County, let's talk about those too. That way, I think it's going to give legislators an opportunity to hear from us, because they've already tweaked the local income tax structure last session. There's a good chance that they hear from counties that says this current law doesn't work. It's not one size fits all. If there's some tweaks that they need to make it more flexible to work for some counties, it gives us an opportunity to express that to the legislators. So I think there's a couple of benefits there. One, it will encourage us to talk amongst ourselves to figure out what's going to work. Because a lot of counties, I'll kind of go through the senators. I think from the county's perspective, you guys are going to be in pretty good shape. I think with the current maximums that you're allowed to go to, you're going to be okay. There's other counties, if they go to the max rate, they're still going to collect less money than what they're collecting now. The math just may not work under the current system for some counties, even if they go to the max. So I think some counties are going to maybe try to be creative and think of other ways. What can we do to make it work for their county? The other thing I think that I've seen happening in the meetings that I've been involved with so far is there's going to be a lot more collaboration, a lot more kind of consolidation on what services can maybe one city or town help provide that will benefit not just that particular boundary, but maybe cross over into outside corporate boundaries, and maybe it could work both ways. County contract with the city contract with the county. I think there's going to be more consolidation to try to provide some efficiencies of scales that way, and that's where I think bringing those other parties involved. Now I mentioned as far as the task force, the only statute, the only people that participate on the task force is Representative of County Council and the clerk treasurer of the fiscal body of the cities and towns. We recommend other council members participate in the meetings, commissioners, mayors, and even townships, because their townships will no longer be getting any revenue under the new lit structure. Libraries will no longer be getting any revenue under the new lit structure. They'll be coming to this board in July of 2028 asking for revenue, and it'll be up to you to determine whether they receive any and how much. So it would be beneficial that you could invite them to these meetings as well to hear their needs and priorities. I've been throwing a lot at you, kind of just skipping around, kind of hitting the highlights. Again, it's kind of looking at a more regional collaboration of the new list structure. Because as you know now, when you adopt an income tax, you get a portion of it, and then part of it goes to Connersville or the townships. Under this new list structure, you can adopt just your rate. City of Connersville has the opportunity to potentially adopt a rate that's just going to benefit them, where they get to keep all of it. They don't have to share it with anyone. The county is going to have the ability to adopt a rate where it doesn't have to share it with anyone. Connersville also has the ability that if it wants to, it can deny that rate or that ability to adopt a rate and opt into a separate rate. But then they would have to come to your board and ask for permission to receive a rate, and then you could decide yes or no and what that rate is, how much they can collect. So those are also decisions that need to be made, 2028, and this body can help, have discussions with the city of Connersville, see what their needs are, and then kind of have discussions on, okay, what do you think, may happen in 2028. The one thing with this task force, as you can see from, who makes up the task force, there can be no decisions made. Even if you come up with a unanimous decision and submit that to DLGF, that's not binding. Things are going to change. People who are on the board may not be on the board in 2028. Yeah. So it's just kind of, as we see it today, this is what we could see as working for Fayette County. But that doesn't mean that that's what's set in stone for a couple of years. It's really just to start getting us to think now, rather than not wait until 2028 and start making some very difficult decisions at the 11th hour with no information.
Absolutely.
I'll skip to page 10. Because I appreciate it. I feel like you guys are all very number-minded, so being an accountant, I appreciate that. But page 10, kind of get into some real numbers, I guess. This is at the current list structure, and this might make a little bit more sense what I'm talking about. So right now, Fayette County has certified shares of, they collect 1%, so countywide you collect about $5 million. Public safety of a tax rate of 0.25%, you collect about $1.2 million. The correctional facility or the jail rate, you're at your max 0.2, so you collect a little over $1 million. So in your total expenditure rate, your total rate is 1.45%, you collect about $7.2 million countywide. Down below that, you also have property tax relief rate. You're almost at the max 1.12%, that's $5.6 million. That is key as you guys are starting to talk about your budget, because basically what that means, that $5.6 million, people are paying $5.6 million of income, and that's being used to help reduce property taxes throughout the county. That's key, because in 2029, all these local income taxes go away. There will no longer be certified shares. There will no longer be a jail rate. There will no longer be public safety. There will no longer be property tax relief. So what that means with the no property tax relief, your property tax rates will go up. Because you're no longer getting $5 million from income taxes, so the only way to make up that $5 million is to increase the amount that people pay in property taxes. The problem with that is people like in Connersville, where Connersville has a higher tax rate, everyone is at that property tax cap. 1% for homesteads, where you pay 1% of your gross assessed value, 2% for rental property or homesteads, and 3% for the commercial. You can increase their tax rate all you want. People in Connersville probably aren't going to pay $1 more or a penny more because they're all hitting the cap. So what that means to you in Connersville and the schools is it's going to increase your circuit breaker losses. So right now in 2026, you have you're losing about $1.6 million in revenue because of your circuit breaker credits. Of that's about $1.2 million in caps. So in 2029, I imagine that number is probably going to increase pretty significantly for your county. So I bring that up just because you guys were talking about budgets. That's going to be pretty important. So as you make decisions for 2027, you might want to keep in mind in 2028, 2029, you're probably going to receive less revenue than you could be now. Because you guys have one of the highest property tax replacement credits in the state. So you guys are going to get hit pretty hard in 2029 when that goes away. So I know that's kind of a separate discussion than this, but it's another reason why it's important for you guys to maybe, whether you need to do a formal MUSC program and do a formal report to the state, I think it's a good idea. I recommend more information's always wise. Collaboration, talking to other entities is beneficial. But I think it's, you guys, I think are going to be hit more harsh than some other counties by losing that property tax replacement rate and all going on the property taxes, and you can see larger losses in your revenues.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
I hope it's relevant, but how do places like Florida make it?
Sales tax.
When they get rid of?
They have other revenues.
Okay, they get rid of property tax.
Yeah. Yeah, they have.
I know they have higher tax rates or like
They
sales
get rid of
tax.
property, they
Like
got rid
Tennessee
of property
has
taxes, but they
10%.
have a lot, with Visitor World down there, they have a lot of other revenues.
Recreational, yeah.
And the other thing I think, and I don't know the statistics, is they get rid of property taxes, but it's for, I think it's for people who, that's their main residence. As you can imagine, there's a lot of residents down there that's their secondary home. So I don't know what the percentages are, but I think that does play a role into it.
So we may not be hearing the absolute total story of it.
Yeah.
But doesn't it roll over on the dollar amount that they spend? Isn't that how they get that revenue back?
Yeah, I mean, there's gonna be other,
Yeah.
sales tax or
Yeah.
service fees, and, that's the, you hear there's representatives now that are wanting to eliminate property tax, and in its
Right.
place, put in, 7 or 8%
Yeah.
service fee tax.
Also,
So-
your property taxes are based upon real estate values, which may be leveling off or even maybe going down in the near future.
Could be,
So that's even a bigger loss.
eventually. I mean, although that is true, but my concern is property taxes is more reliable than income taxes. Because you have a downturn in the economy, that's more volatile. So that's the other thing when you're thinking about your budgets, when you're talking about having balances. As we start going more towards local income taxes, I'm kind of getting off topic, but this is important for you guys to think about. As we start moving more towards local income taxes, which the state's kind of forcing us to do, it's more important to have healthy balances because local income tax is more volatile than property taxes. So I did want to bring that point up. I know it's kind of a side note, but just as I was running numbers, I want to make sure you guys are aware, not saying it's all doom and gloom and the sky is falling, but something that you guys should be aware of. In a couple of years, you guys will probably be hit pretty hard with increased circuit breaker losses. But to your point, the biggest variable that impacts what your future is going to look like and how much you're going to lose is assessed value, is your tax base. If we can get our tax base to grow faster than the maximum levy growth quotient, which is 6%, they just sent that out a couple days ago for next year, your budget's going to be able to grow 6%. The last couple of years it's been capped at 4%, so that should help you with your budget. But if your assessed value doesn't grow by more than that, that's going to raise tax rates and increase your circuit breaker losses. So that's one thing we want to try to continue to make our county and our communities grow, so our tax base grows faster than our tax rates and our budgets. So this is the current law as we know it. One other rate that you do have is a special purpose fund, or lit rate that you guys have had for quite a while now. That's $1.2 million that you collect that stays with the county. That's outside of what's going to be changed in 2029. So you will be able to keep that revenue stream. But everything else will go away starting in 2029.
But Jane, doesn't that disappear in 27, that special purpose?
You said no.
What the courthouse classified as?
That's not all that it's for, though. It's not just the purchase of the, remember you answered this question for us once before, about a year or so ago. The special purpose, like we originally got it when we were refinancing the courthouse, but once that's paid off, we can still continue to use that to rent the courthouse, right?
I'll have to look back at the statute because I don't recall, because I know some statutes that allow once the bonds are paid off, but right now your bonds are paid off for property taxes, correct?
Both.
Both.
Some is paid from the special purpose and some is paid from at least a property tax levy.
I'll have to look back at the statute because since it was a special fund for Fayette County or a special rate for Fayette County, some fall off once the bonds are paid off. Some can continue to help
That's
pay
what I
for
was wondering, if
operating.
it's gonna stop or continue.
I think yours
Okay.
continues.
What you said at the time in the email, this was actually from 23, so it's longer ago than I thought, but you said attached to the statute, I would defer to your local attorney, but section 2C lists what the funds can be used for, including operating the county courthouse, and I did not see an
No
end
new
date.
subdivisions
At that
either,
time,
no
our county
building,
attorney reviewed it
no
and agreed with your assessment, the way the statute for that particular special edit.
So since it's special, it falls under special legislation, it will be able to continue after 2029 when the rest of these fall away.
Okay.
So that's something that I would keep that and hold on to that because that is a revenue stream that not every county has.
Right.
And the fact that you do currently use it for operating is key.
Yeah, we don't rely on it a lot.
So page 11, if you turn to page 11, as I mentioned on the prior page, you know, of your certified shares in public safety and correctional jail, about $7.2 million. These are actual 2026 numbers. So the county receives $3.6 million. You can see the townships. You can see the Connersville receives $3.3 million. Glenwood, the other town, receives $7,000. The library receives $227,000. Every one of these entities in 2028 will have to come in front of you and ask for lit going forward. And it'll be this board's decision whether they receive any, and then at what rate you adopt to allow them to get a portion of that revenue. As I mentioned, the city of Connersville, because they have a population of over 3,500, city council can basically, if you go to the next page, adopt a rate. This is kind of starting from the right side. They can adopt their own rate, their own local income tax rate. So this is new. Right now, your local income tax that you have in place, everyone in the county pays those rates. It's spread amongst everyone in the county that lives here, and they all pay the same rate. But the city of Connersville, if they want to, they have the ability to adopt a rate up to 1.2%, and only the people in the city of Connersville, the corporate limits, will pay that rate. No one else. And that's because if you kind of look at the far left, the county services, you can also adopt a rate of 1.2%. And everyone in the county, except for the city of Connersville, would pay for that. No, I'm sorry, that's wrong. For that 1.2, everyone in the county will pay for that, 1.2. But all that money goes to you. It's not like now where if you have certified shares, you have to share it with the townships and the library and everyone else. You'll get to keep all that 1.2%, or whatever you decide to rate adopt.
Is that in addition to or instead of?
In addition to,
So if you live in a
What
city, you're
currently?
gonna get
Are you gonna get
taxed
double
twice.
taxed if you're in the city?
yeah,
Yeah.
yes, yes,
Because you're also a county resident.
yes.
Okay.
So I'll come back to that, because that is a very good point. So the 1.2 applies to everyone in the county. County gets to collect all of that revenue. Now there's also a fire and EMS rate of 0.4%. So this can be distributed to fire districts, fire territories, cities and towns that provide fire services, and also the county can receive a part of that if you provide EMS.
Who determines that?
Yep.
County does.
Council.
So this one is probably going to be the most complicated one, point 4, because one, you have the most flexibility on how it's allocated. But once it's decided, it has to go to all those who ask for it. But you can kind of, it's based upon population, it's based upon service area, but you get to determine the weight of each of those. So again, you guys have a lot more flexibility on how that's divvied up. The next column is the non-municipal rates. So this is the townships, libraries. If you had like an airport, solid waste, that would be included in here as well. That's up to 0.2%. However, each unit can't receive more than 0.05%. So like for townships, we can't give townships combined more than 0.05%. So let's say we go to the max 0.05% and that generates, let's say $1 million. Then that $1 million gets allocated by population of the townships. So that's going to be key because all the townships are going to come in.
Yeah, we're merging those townships though.
Well, and that's something else we have to think about, yeah. So, the landscape that we see today may not be the landscape in 2028 because you're right, there could be less townships. But still, how many there are, that 0.05 or whatever you adopt is going to be allocated, it's going to be allocated by population. So there's going to be potentially some winners or losers, because let's say you're trying to make one township whole. By making one township whole, you could be giving another township a huge increase from what they're currently getting, or a huge deficit. And that's something that you can't control. You can control the rate up to 0.05, but how it's allocated, it's all based on the population.
I think they're gonna divide it in half, north side to south side, and just have it two.
Townships. So they'll still be based upon population, so if both populations are even, then they'll get 50-50, but right now, they could be getting something significantly different than 50-50. So I think that's going to be discussions that this board will have to make.
And is the school the only entity that can put a referendum on?
No,
It's going to pass.
anyone can put a referendum on,
Okay.
as long as it's passed. The next one is the municipal services county-wide rate. So this would be like, going, because they have a population of under 3,500. They receive local income tax. It's not much, but if they wanted to receive some, they'd have to go to this board. What also changed this year is now Connersville can also be lumped into this group, and they can come to you and ask for a part of that. Again, it's up to 1.2%. And you ask, well, why would they want to come to the county council and ask for a rate when they can do their own rate? And it gets back to the tax base. The tax base of the county is wealthier than the tax base of Connersville. So again, if Connersville, city of Connersville, and we see this for a lot of cities, if they go up to the max 1.2%, they're not going to collect enough revenue on their own to get that $3 million that they're currently collecting. But if they get taxed on the entire tax base of the county, then they can have a small rate. I don't know what it is yet, but I can tell from looking at some of the information you sent, Jane, on the AIM sent out. If you were to adopt a rate of, like say 0.8%, then you can generate enough revenue to make Connersville whole. But that 0.8% is going to be taxed on everyone in the county versus just 1.2% versus people who live in Connersville, and Connersville's still not going to generate enough revenue to collect what they're collecting now.
How did TIFs affect this?
TIFs, that's property taxes, so it'd be unrelated towards the local income tax.
But they're taking away our tax base by, some of our taxes by having it.
But that'd be property taxes.
Property taxes.
Yeah, so this is all local income tax only.
And the total cap is 2.9 with everything combined still, right?
Yes, yes. So it's not as easy as just pushing a button and doing one rate and trying to make everyone whole. And that's where I think that's where, if you wanted to form a MUS committee, I think having these conversations and looking at the different scenarios, hearing from, you know, Connersville, others, what their needs are, I think could be beneficial, you know, for you to help make an informed decision, either on this formal bus committee to put together a report, if you'd like, to send to the LGF and also to provide it to the legislators. But I think the real value is having some of these conversations early. Like, I know I was in Blackford County, I'm from Henry County, you know, they're talking about how can we work with the city, like, okay, let's say city will allow you in both of those, Hartford City and Newcastle, they're probably gonna have to opt in because they're just like Connersville. If they go on their own, they're not gonna collect enough revenue to match what they're collecting now. They're gonna have to opt in and ask the county to provide a rate. Just like you, the county's gonna decide, okay, do we think Connersville needs that amount of revenue? Do we want to adopt a rate of 0.8 that gets charged on everyone in the county? That's gonna be a decision you have to make. Then I think there's gonna be discussions where, okay, you provide fire and EMS, maybe you provide more outside and maybe you already do this, but looking at contracts, maybe, okay, we'll give you more money, but maybe you pay us to provide EMS to whatever, or vice versa. I think those conversations where we can provide some economies of scale, I think those are gonna happen more than they have in the past. And there's gonna be a lot more inter-funds, inter-contracts between different communities within the county.
Jason, I thought the new portal that they created was gonna make it easier for us to figure out.
And I saw it today for the first time.
Okay.
I was working with another county and she kind of shared her screen with me and I kind of looked at it. It does these different scenarios,
Yeah, I
because
see.
as you can imagine, you
Yeah.
can come up with a million scenarios.
I seen it at the state hall
And
meeting.
you can put the million scenarios together, but it gets overwhelming pretty quickly.
I seen it at the state hall meeting, I
Yeah.
thought it was very helpful.
Yeah, it is, yeah, and so that's something that's a tool that we would use, and you should use, to start looking at all these different options. So, what the councilwoman is representing is AIC has worked with policy analytics to put together kind of a software that kind of outlines these various buckets. And you could put in, okay, what does it take to make Fayette County whole? What kind of rate do you need? What kind of rate does it need to make Connersville whole and the townships? So there is that tool out there. But from what I've heard from some of the counties that have used it, there's still a lot of decisions that need to be made. So yes, but you definitely want to use that tool. One thing, if you turn to page 16, I did run, you know, if the county were to, and this is based upon 2026 numbers, if you were to go to the max, based upon your tax base, you could collect $6 million in revenue. And if you look back on page 11, you're collecting $3.6 million now. So I'm not worried about you as far as, you know, if you go to the max, you don't need to go to the max to make yourself whole. I can tell you there's some other counties that they go to the max, they're not gonna make themselves whole. So you guys have some room to grow. Connersville, looking at their numbers, if they go to their max 1.2, they're not gonna make it whole. So there's a good chance they may come to you and ask to be part of that municipal rate. That's a discussion they would wanna have with you because they wanna know what your feelings are on that. But again, I'm just looking at, you know, 30,000 feet, I feel comfortable you guys have some room there, just for you particularly. I haven't looked any further on townships and libraries, what you might have to adopt to try to make them whole, if that's your goal.
Is that including all the funds, like the jail fund and all the other funds?
Yes, yeah, if you, that 3.6 million, that includes the certified shares, public safety, and the jail fund. What that doesn't include is the special program, because that's outside of the new law, so you'll continue to get to keep that. The only thing I would, I'm telling clients to think about is, again, especially for you guys, is you need to think about not what rate you need to put in place to make yourself whole, because I'm really concerned in 2029, if AVs don't grow significantly, they talked about with that property tax replacement going away, your circuit breaker losses could see a huge increase in '29 because of that $5 million of lit going away. And because I know you're not gonna make up $5 million in property taxes because of the number of communities you have that are already at the cap. So when you're thinking about what lit you want in place, it's not to make up $3.6 million, but we might need to come up with $4.5 million because we might have an extra $600,000 of circuit breaker losses by 2020. I'm just making that number up, but just helping you think, if I'm in your place, we want to think in 29 numbers, not so much 26.
Our AVs went up huge this year. Huge.
And I think, and that's, I don't know about for residential, but I heard that for commercial because we're still trying to get caught up on the ELG is still getting caught up on their cost tables. My only concern is if the economy takes a downturn, some of those residential assessments are going to go down. That have increased significantly over the last couple of years. Hopefully that doesn't happen. But that is a good sign that AVs continue to go up for you guys because that's what we need for your tax rate to continue to grow. I know I kind of jumped all over the place, but again, I'm happy to answer any more questions. But if you are looking at doing the formal MUS program, you know, I think probably the first step is to have a meeting, invite. Well, one, this board decides who you want to invite. Do you just want to invite those that are formally part of the task force, which is cities and towns? Or do you want to broaden it up to include and get input from the townships, the libraries? We even have some counties that, even though the schools don't get any lit under the new structure, they still want to hear from the schools and see what they need. And then have that meeting, if that's what you decide, invite those people, the sidewalks, you know, let them kind of hear what the MUS program is, what the goals are, and then kind of have scheduled meetings to talk about looking at the different scenarios, you know, based upon the various needs of the various units.
Jamie said we should wait till October before we do the MUS.
I've heard August, because it's due December 1, so October does not give you much time. I've heard August because in August, we're supposed to get the estimated lits for 2027, so we'll have more current information. I'll tell you, I would not if this is something that you're interested in, I would not recommend waiting until August to have your first meeting, because your first meeting is just probably, you know, talking to the mayor, talking to our city town, having someone kind of explain, like I'm doing tonight, just explain what the purpose of the MUS is, telling them, you know, come back with what are your needs, you know, what are your priorities, you know, those kinds of conversations. You can have all those kind of conversations before August, before we have new information. And it's probably going to take 2 or 3, 4 meetings, you know, once you get your group together to start thinking about these different scenarios. Maybe not, maybe it won't take that long, you know. You really won't know until you start crunching the numbers and see what everyone's needs are. But I'd rather start sooner and give yourself more time than wait till October or even September when it's due December 1, because 2 months, you know, as you guys well know, it takes a while to get decisions made, especially if it needs to be unanimous decision. So you can wait, but I wouldn't recommend waiting until September, October.
I'm just telling you what Jamie said, that's all.
Yeah, and I know, and I've heard even August, once the new revenues come out for lit, but I don't think there's any reason, if you're serious, to start having your first meeting in July or August, to at least start setting the groundwork on what you want to accomplish.
Okay, I want to say something to the board, because I think this is a very, very important decision, and county council is going to have a lot. I would like to find out how Baker and Tilly can help us get to where we need to be, because I think it's bigger than what we are, and with his knowledge and what we're going to have to do and the decisions we're going to make. So I want to open that up for discussion. and then find out if that's something that you're willing to do.
Yeah, what we're doing, I mean, we can be involved as little or as much as you want. Some communities, we're kind of responsible for setting up the meetings, sending out the emails, scheduling those. We probably want to have them as public meetings, especially, I encourage, you invite, you just represent one council. I represent as many council members come to the meeting as they can. Commissioners, I suggest commissioners come. The city council, not just one representative, sub clerk treasurer, not just the mayor, but council members. So for all that reason, it should be public meetings, the proper
Area
public
planning.
notices. We rely upon the attorneys with that help, but we can help organize the dates and those kinds of things. We'll definitely take notes, definitely work with Jane, because she does have that policy analytics software. Work with her with various scenarios. Once we get the feedback from your board, this board gets the feedback, I say this board, but the task committee gets the feedback from everyone to look at, okay, what's our needs? Do we want to try to make people whole? Again, making one person whole, someone still may be a shortfall, so to get them whole, it might mean someone gets a surplus. Do we want that? Those are the kind of things that once we get into the weeds, we can kind of play around with. If we want to talk about, compromising, this is kind of gets where we can just kind of sit back and help keep the conversations going. But as in one county, and that's where the mayor and council really talk about how can they start working together on sharing services or providing doing the interlocal agreements. Again, none of that has to be decided this year, but just the fact that they were talking about that, I thought was positive, because I think that will help them in the long run. But we can take notes. We can help with the formal report and get that submitted to DLGF when the time's come. So we can definitely help the county and the committee with all that.
Is there conversation? No one has anything to
Well,
say?
Sounds good.
Is basically you're a consulting firm that comes in?
I've worked for the county for a number of years. Probably the last time I was here with the county was when we refinanced the jail bonds a few years ago. Baker Tilly, it's a CPA firm. My department does consulting, so we help with financing capital projects, budgeting, long-term planning. Really anything that has a dollar sign in front of it, we can help with.
How much are you gonna cost us?
I'll probably want to, typically it's been about $35,000, not to exceed, because it all depends upon how many meetings. I kind of have it kind of an a la carte, that if you don't want us to do everything, you can pick and choose. A lot of the counties that I've worked with, they've tried to share the cost with the other entities. So that's something that, Connersville, because it's going to be beneficial to everyone. That's something I would, see if you have the others
What
share
kind
the
of time do
cost.
you think it takes to work through this?
It's really up to you. I mean, there's one county we're working down south. They're wanting us to meet every 2 weeks. I have another county that's probably going to be maybe once a month, so maybe 3 or 4 meetings. It's kind of really up to the task force on.
So, but to reach our end, maybe there is no end, but what kind of time are you looking at? So just say we sit down and we're gonna meet every day and we're gonna get it done. What are you looking at, 2 weeks, a month,
No, I would say
90
a
days.
couple of months,
60 days?
60 to 90 days, yeah.
You're looking at 60 to 90 days total time is regardless of how it's spread out.
Right. And that could be a decision once we have our first meeting and have the other members. That's something we could decide. We could put together an agenda there and say, we don't want to have too many meetings. We want to get this wrapped up in 3 meetings over 3 months. That's completely up to you.
I definitely think, Sharon, that the other entities, taxing units need to help foot the bill for their services. It's my opinion.
I agree, and that could definitely be a discussion. This is a big undertaking, and I do believe that with their knowledge and their expertise, we need that.
Yeah, that's why it's really important that those videos Jamie sent out, that everybody watches them.
And I say 69 days, but with your county being, I won't say in good shape, that you guys are in good shape, but the fact that you have so much flexibility with your 1.2%, we could, just do a couple scenarios and think, okay, under the current lit, if the county or the city opts in, we can make them whole, everyone else whole. It could be a simpler process. Until we get into running those numbers, I won't know. And then once you see the numbers, you may have lots of scenarios you want to see. So that all depends on how quickly the process takes.
Is that due this December?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, because the legislators want this report this fall, so they'll have it before they go into session next spring. So if there's any, hopefully not wishful thinking, but hopefully they see there's any tweaks that we suggest, or they see that, hey, this current structure may not work for all 92 counties. It gives them that information where they can maybe make some changes next session.
But it won't go into effect until
2028.
28.
So you say you're already,
They're making us try to work out their problem,
Yeah,
is what they're doing.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you presented, because I knew it wasn't as bad as some of us thought here. And it's better, it's better than you think. It's not.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, just because working with you in the past and working with prior councils when we talked about increasing lits in the past, because you guys have a low lit rate compared to a lot of counties, which is beneficial. I mean, your tax rate's 1.45% for expenditure, where it can go up to 2.5. The counties that are up to the max 2.5, they're the ones that are going to be struggling under this new lit structure.
The irony, though, is when this goes into effect, half of this council will probably be new by then.
Yeah, and that's one of the critiques or criticisms that I hear a lot is, again, because it's non-binding, whether you decide, it doesn't mean anything in 2028.
Yeah.
Maybe not, but that's where, again, I'm kind of looking at the glass is half full.
Yeah.
The fact that we can have some of these conversations, and if we're talking to the mayor now and just brainstorming and thinking outside the box, then those ideas have already been planted, those seeds have already been planted. So in 2028, when we have to make decisions, we've already kind of thought about some of this stuff.
We could even have a good new governor, potentially.
Yeah. Well, and, is the lit structure in 2028 going to be what it is now? Probably not. There's probably going to be some tweaks. But again, I think conversation is good, and anything that we can do to try to make some efficiencies across borders, I think is going to help us all in the long run.
Yeah.
What happens if we don't do anything until?
I mean, this isn't
I mean, I'm just
required. I
asking.
mean, this task force is not required.
Oh.
You don't have to do it. And I have some clients that are not going to do the formal report and submit that, but they are going to be meeting with the cities and the townships and kind of get their feedback so they can start thinking about, okay, what is it going to look like in 2028? Just because, and really, a lot of times it's the cities that are initiating this because they're the ones that they know they're not going to be able to make whole if they go by themselves. And they're all completely going to be dependent upon the county council. So they need to have these conversations now with county council. Hey, are you willing to adopt a rate? Are you willing to try to make us whole? If not, we need to know that now because we are making some decisions now that's going to impact 2029 budget when you're talking about raises and employees. Because those are long-term decisions.
If we would spend the money now, would we have? It could all just be different, and we may have to do it again and over.
Well, that's one thing that we're encouraging. If you do this Musk task force, it probably shouldn't be a one-time thing, because again, I think there's benefits of you working with the mayor and the other entities. That it doesn't have to be a formal, Musk task force, but maybe a countywide committee because this is going to be an annual decision of the council. So the first year that you do in 2028, it's set for 3 years. After that, it's an annual decision. So every year after that, the townships are going to come to you. The mayor's going to come to you. The library's going to come to you. So to have that continual conversation, whether it's a, formal committee, I think will be beneficial for,
I thought they changed that annual thing.
for the first 3 years it's set. Then after the year, it's an annual decision. It may get changed because that makes it difficult to bond. But I think the lawyers have figured a way where we can kind of still bond with income taxes.
Yeah.
So no, it's not required, and you're right, it could change. And that's kind of decision, how much value you want to put into it, how much work you want to put into it, knowing it all could and probably will change to some aspect of it.
It always changes.
I'm very much in favor of using consultants.
We haven't heard anything from the city?
Not for a couple months.
What he's saying is that they should be more concerned than we are, or.
They definitely need to be concerned.
I mean,
Well, we
that's-
have been in meetings for our interlocal agreement, and we haven't came to an agreement. So we've been working with them, but nothing has been decided.
So I think this probably will have a lot of impact
Yeah.
on that, is my guess.
Definitely.
So I think, again, whether you do the task force or hire us, I think it's gonna be important for you guys to look at this, because I don't say leverage, because that sounds negative, but, it could be where, hey, yeah, we're willing to give you this amount, but does that give you enough to pay for this contract?
Council's council's gonna hold all the
So-
cards, so.
Yeah, so, and vice versa, so I think that's where both parties need to kind of know where they stand.
Is it something that we can learn upon the first time around and then maybe go at it consecutively on our own?
Oh, definitely,
Perhaps?
I mean, hopefully that would be the case.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it wouldn't be every year 35,000 split or something.
right, yeah.
I just believe it would be good to get the ball rolling, to get the task force going, to get things in order, understand everything we need to do, how it's going to come down the pike, and be ready. That's my,
Do we need to wait until townships are decided or changed?
that's not coming.
That's not-
That's-
for a while.
Isn't that like 28 too?
Well, it depends, because some are getting scored at the end of this year, so it's,
The
we
scores
could run it
are,
both ways, we can
Yeah.
kind of look at it from different perspectives.
the scores are out.
I mean,
Are they,
I think this is sounds like a good plan, but if we want the other entities to be involved in paying for it, we need to contact them first before we make any decisions. So, I'm not opposed to it.
We could have Jane draft a letter up, a proposal to split their cost.
Well, I agree and disagree, because I believe they should pay for it, but in the long run, they are going to be paying for it if they don't. So my thing is, I would, I know it's a lot of money, but I think it's much needed. But we can definitely, like Gabe said, contact them, for sure,
Oh, yeah.
but,
Perhaps we don't do anything formal tonight, but
Right.
we reach out to the other entities, see what their interest is in participating in this with Baker Tilly, and we have some sort of something to vote on at our meeting in August,
in August.
our normal meeting in August.
Could you present us with some kind of a quote
yeah, I can.
that would maybe separate the two, that would give, so that we could have some numbers we could go to them with and say,
Yeah, that would be
it
helpful.
appears that we need you on this much, and we're gonna do this much, and
Well,
as to
it's kind of
what
all-
services those different fees are gonna provide for the
Yeah,
different
I can,
entities?
put kind of an a la carte of what the different, what that 35,000, what the various, it's up to. So it could be less, and we have less meetings, what that is made up of. And then I can give that to you as a formal agreement, have your attorney review it, and then you'll have that, and then you can decide, whether you want to split it 50/50 or however you want to split it, but at least you have a number and what it all
Well,
involves.
that cost covers all 3 years,
Just 1 year, just
so
this
it's
year.
per year.
No,
Well,
We're
hopefully,
just doing 1
I don't,
year.
after this year, you may not need us.
So I think you ought to present us with something in writing, structured to the way we're discussing here.
Yeah, this is really just to be more informative, but yeah, we're happy to help the county. Like I said, I've worked with you guys for a long time. Again, I think it's,
$95,000.
from what, we've just gotten started with a lot of counties, but just the conversation, I think has been productive.
okay.
So we can have something by our August meeting, so we can.
Yes.
Okay.
I think it'd be good to try to have something before that, so that we've got some idea from the other entities what
Yeah.
what
I
they
agree.
might, what they
I'll
might be
send you-
willing
I
to and
agree.
what not willing to.
Yeah.
It could be, you could send it to us digitally, I guess.
Yes. Yeah, I'll send it to you here in a couple
Are we
weeks.
gonna be, are we
Maybe
talking,
send it to each and every one of us so we can,
Yeah.
I'll send it
Huh?
to Jamie
Yeah.
and she can forward it on.
okay.
so the entities would be city, county, townships?
I don't know,
Library.
whatever he sees fit.
Library, school,
That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying.
That's really up to,
We wanna count everybody?
It had.
formally, the only, people who can be on the task board is the council and the clerk treasurer for the cities and towns. Now, if you want to open up, who's invited to those meetings, well, anyone can come to a public meeting.
Yeah.
But if you want to open that up to include townships and all that.
I'm just talking about splitting the bill.
Yeah, that's completely up to
right,
you.
right.
The two entities basically right now, the council and the city.
Yeah, if you look at the amount of revenue some of those townships get, especially if they're gonna be consolidated, I can see them maybe not wanting to contribute.
Some of the townships do.
I can understand it.
Just talking about the two townships.
The only other thing, since I was here, you were talking about the budget, and you were talking about bonds. Something else that you may want to think about as you're going through your budget, I don't know how much capital needs that we do have, but that jail bond issue, that is partly paying for property taxes, I believe that expires in 2028. So if, not knowing what your, or is it 27?
Next year.
Okay,
What expires?
so that January 28.
The
I told you.
bond, courthouse payment.
Okay.
Oh, we always pay it,
Yeah.
June to
yeah,
December.
Yeah, so
yeah.
next year's your last, your payment. So, and we do this for a lot of communities where we do like 5 or 6 year rolling bonds to help pay for a lot of capital expenses. So it's just something, again, not trying to push a bond, and you may not have any projects, but if you do have any capital projects that you want to fund, you may want to think about doing a bond issue, so as that one rolls off, you can keep the tax rate level, and that way you don't have to pay for some of those capital projects out of your general fund or your income tax. So again, just something to think about as you're going through that budget process.
What else besides just this specific thing? What kind of services do you provide as a consultant?
We, again, help with the budgeting process, which it gives, sounds like you guys have a good handle on that. Something that may come out of this, this task force is we do long-term planning. So we don't just look at your budget for 1 year, we go out for 3 years,
Yeah.
which you guys might really want to look at with my, again, I'm not trying to say the sky is falling, but with your, I am concerned for you guys with what 2029 is going to look like. We can do kind of a parcel by parcel analysis to show what we think 29 is going to look like. And we'll have some assumptions on AV growth, but that will help you better prepare. I know a lot of communities have us do that because at budget time, let's say, not saying you're thinking about giving raises, but let's say you're thinking about giving a raise. Based upon your current cash flow, current balances, you might look like you're able to fund a 5% increase in raise. But if you go out to 2029, 2030, 2031, it might show where we're starting eating into our balances too much. So those are kinds of things where I think it's good to have like a long-term outlook to help you make some decisions today. We do that for a lot of communities.
We
Can
definitely
you
need
draft
to
a
do
quote for that too?
Yeah.
What'd you say?
Can you draft a quote for that as well?
Oh, yeah, sure.
We do efficiency studies, so we help look at your current, employment and see, sounds like you guys are already pretty lean from earlier discussions, but that's something we can kind of look at to see if there's any cost-saving measures in the county. So we do that. We're starting to do more and more of that just because of where people are at. But that's something we can help with. If you do have, cash on hand that you invest, county treasurer probably invests in CDs.
He does.
We can help her, do competitive, get the best CD rates out there. So I'll let you do that, but that's something that we help. Those are the big things right now. But if there's something you need, ask and we've probably done it. The bonding's a big thing that I'm involved with as well, and I said that's something that we're seeing more because, again, as you know, your balances are dwindling just to cover operating costs. It's more and more difficult to fund capital projects.
How many agents you have in your firm?
I'm sorry?
How many agents do you employ in your firm?
Well, that's difficult to ask because, I'm originally with Umball when we started 27 years ago, and we merged with Baker Tilly. At the time, we had like 150 Umball people. When we merged with Baker Tilly, we went to like 3,000. And that's, across, the world. And now we merged again with Moss Adams, so now we're, well over that. But I work strictly in Indiana. We still have, 150, 200 people that work mostly in Indiana. So we do have some people that do cross borders, but like for me and most of the people that you would work with here, except unless we did maybe efficiency studies, because they do work all across the country. But for bonding and long-term planning, you'd be working with people that have born and raised, and that's all we do here within Indiana. Kind of depends upon the specialty or service that you're wanting. We do gap financing, which you guys are small enough that you don't have to worry about, State Board of Accounts still does all your audits. But if you were wanting more audit assistance, we help with that too. So all our counties we help with. I don't see that you guys need to now.
Glad you came.
Yeah, me too.
Appreciate it.
Well, thank you.
Are we
Thank you
planning
so
on,
much.
are we planning on getting with the city before the next meeting, or are we inviting them to the meeting?
We need a quote.
So
We need a quote and then we
We
need to
need
share
a
that with the
quote,
city.
and I
But I
think
just, we're sort of behind the eight ball though, calendar wise,
we need
are
a,
we not?
You still have
I
time.
mean,
Yeah,
Yeah, I wouldn't wait till September, October.
if we were doing it by ourselves, we're way behind
Oh,
the
true.
ball.
True.
But if we have a consultant, it would be much better, much better.
I'm sure your quote will maybe give us timelines.
Timelines
Could you include that as to
for,
where we are now at basically zero and
yeah, we can work on trying to get it.
aggressive?
Yeah, I can do that. Again, that's gonna be flexible because we wanna move as quickly or as fast as you guys do.
And I mean, that may not be needed until after we look at a quote and say, yeah, we want to do this, then
Okay, yeah, we can put together.
I'm sure the process will take care of itself.
For the CFP, or Fiscal Sustainability Plan, what we call it now, when was your budget again? Was it August?
August 11th.
August 11th?
Well, that's our first budget hearing, yes. We'll finalize in September 15th.
Normally, what I'd like to do is, it's probably I don't think we can get this done in by August 11th if you gave us the go-ahead, since it's already July. I could see if that's something that you wanted, if you had like preliminary budget numbers in August, we could probably put those in a report. So you'd have it to you on your September 11th meeting or even prior to that. I think we could definitely meet that deadline easy, where if you had a preliminary 2027 budget, we could plug that into a report so you can kind of see what that would look like, what we think your ending balances would look like for we'll show what you think your ending balance would look like for 26 and then 2027 based upon that preliminary budget. We could do that. Because that's where this comprehensive financial plan is really where it helps you. It's going to help you at budget time. because they were gonna provide you with estimated revenues and estimated circuit breaker losses, which will help you guys make, decisions what you guys can afford.
Yeah.
So I can put that in my proposal, that we could try to meet those deadlines. For you too, if you're interested.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Well,
sir.
thank you.
This was very informative. Thank you. One more thing, we have Stephanie, and thank you for being patient, Stephanie. She would have an announcement.
All right, well, thank you so much for being so supportive of the Extension Office. We're gonna keep this pretty brief since you guys have been here for a long time. We've had a lot of exciting things going on over the past 6 to 8 months to a year, and we have 4 different parts of Purdue Extension. We have Health and Human Sciences, Ag and Natural Resources, Community Development, and of course 4-H, and it's super exciting right now in the 4-H world because we are within our fair month. We have 398 4-Hers, and we're expecting a little over 2,000 projects at the fair this year, so super excited to see all of the kids' successes and all of the new things they've created. So with that, we as Purdue Extension are kind of going through a little bit of every transformation, and we have rehired Becky Marble as our regional operations leader. So I'm going to let her talk about all the things that she's going to do as the regional operations leader.
So some of you might not know me. I worked for Purdue Extension for 15 years as community wellness coordinator, and so kind of really worked in Fayette County. I worked in Franklin and Union Wayne, but Fayette is my home, and I'm a Jennings Township girl, and so I really appreciate being back home here in Fayette County. And so I'm really excited for this role. Purdue Extension is going through transformation. It's just like I'm hearing tonight, you all are going through transformations. And so what we're trying to do is to bring better service and more services to Fayette County. I've seen that. I was in a pilot program starting in March in 6 counties north of us, and so we were trying this new regional model. And so we're now we just rolled this out June 1st, and so Fayette County will be in Region 7, which is 9 counties. And so what that means for Fayette County is that we will be bringing more services in community development, which I think is critical. I've done a lot of that the last 10 years here in Fayette County and other counties. That's going to help us grow, isn't it, when we want to bring people here and bring more value. And Extension is a great investment for that value. And as we go forward, Fayette County, before, historically, you funded 2 educators. Well, now we will have 20 educaters that will be able to come to our community. And by that, they will be specialists, and they will be trained. They'll be able to focus on more areas, from youth to seniors to infants to, as well as 4-H. So 4-H, we will still have that here in every county in Indiana. So 4-H will have a presence. And so we're just excited. In my new role, I'll be help supervising that. I have 4 counties. Fayette County will be my home. So thank you. I'll be downstairs. So I'd love to talk more about what's going to happening next. And so it's been a long evening, but we just really appreciate you. And I will be giving you packets, and I'll have my personal information. I would love to talk with you over a cup of coffee and kind of explain what Extension. And thank you for investing. It's important. And I feel like Extension is an investment, and you'll get a good return on your dollar. Thank you.
Thank you, Becky. Thank you, Stephanie.
I have a question for you, Stephanie.
Sorry.
Well, congratulations, Becky. It's good to have you back.
I know, it's so good to be back.
So who pays for her? Who pays for this?
Purdue.
So I think Becky, would you like to address that?
Well, that's a good one.
Because I think Purdue Extension's funding is a 3-part funding.
Yes.
There's a portion that comes from the state, there's a portion that comes from the federal government, and there's a portion that comes from the county. So that's a difficult question to answer, because even though you funded my position, you haven't funded 100% of my position. You've only funded a small portion, very small portion.
So you didn't ask us for any more money, right, tonight? I guess that's what I'm getting at.
There will be contractual services. They have been out of date for almost 20 years. So it's gonna be based on population. But it will only be $1.98 per resident. So, and the value that this could bring, and I know, you know, a dollar's a dollar. But I feel like the investment
$2 is $2.
that you're gonna be making, just like how many kids you said, 400?
400.
Yeah. And so you're gonna be able to have access to, I've been working a lot with Eastern Workforce Development. When I was doing the pilot program, and there's exciting things. It's a great way. Extension brings a lot of value, and I'm hoping to share that with you. The value that is astronomical in our volunteers, with the people involved, bringing Purdue programming, such as I'm working with the architect students out of Purdue University. They're designing community centers. Well, I mean, they've done 2 parks here in Fayette County, a decade that I've been here. And so there's a lot of value, which I'm really excited to bring in the campus to local communities and bringing that high-level skill, bringing specialists, you know, in early childhood, diabetes, I mean, all chronic illness, and helping address that.
I think a lot of what Purdue Extension does, we fly a lot under the radar, but a lot of what we do is preventative. So
Yeah.
you don't see it on the back end because we're doing the work on the front end. When we do youth leadership development, our kids that go through 4-H, they're 90% more likely to go to college and go to a trade school. So, and we know that more education means better things for our community in a lot of ways. When we teach Dining with Diabetes, it's a 5-week program. It is helping individuals who struggle with diabetes learn new ways of eating. It has a classroom component and a cooking component, and then it has 3-month follow-ups after that. So that's a preventative program that saves significantly on healthcare costs in the long run. And we offer Steps to a Healthier You. We offer Be Heart Smart. We offer Matter of Balance. Matter of Balance, one fall that breaks your hip, you know, puts you in the hospital and costs tons of money. But if we can prevent people from falling or learning how to fall correctly, Matter of Balance is an 8-week program designed for people that are 55 and older. All of these programs we are already presenting to the community, but we don't necessarily see the benefits from them because they are so preventative. And so it's hard for us to really express money that you're saving because it's hard to predict that kind of value. But what we are doing is changing lives one life at a time, and we're doing it very effectively, and we know that from the outcomes that we see with the surveys and the post-research, which we can provide for you if you really want to dive into those.
I don't think anybody on this council or anywhere would dispute the fact that your programs are good. I'm just asking, so you're going to be coming for more money? Or will that be budget time, or, I guess that's what I'm asking. Yes? So did we get a cart before a horse, is I guess that's what
No,
I'm
no, no,
asking.
I mean, I have it here, and I have a packet for you and everything, and we put it in our budget. So I can tell you what it is if you want me to tell you.
I just really wanted to introduce you guys to Becky and know that some of you know her, some of you may not. But just to let you know that she is going to be another Purdue Extension person here in Fayette County that's advocating for us, but also somebody that you guys can come to talk about what you need. If you see that you really think Fayette County needs a Master Gardener program or something like that, you can come to us and let us know, and we can certainly work with all of you to figure that out. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Becky, good to have you.
Great to have you back, Becky.
There's no patrons here, so does someone want to make a motion to
Can I
end
ask
the
one more
meeting?
thing? I know nobody wants to be here any longer. It's to Jeff, actually.
She has a
Actually,
question for you, Jeff.
Our commissioner, I think our commissioner's left. Have we forgot about, where does the Women's Center, the possible like funds or money that we might have saved or recuperated, or is that still on the table? Is that done?
That's still pending, and I
Pending.
don't think we want to talk about the numbers or where it's at.
Well, okay, so, but it's still pending. It's not forgotten, it's not,
It's definitely not forgotten.
okay.
I will tell you that the good news about that was that we handled it correctly. In fact, we still have the money retained.
Okay.
So it's not, we won't have to go after anybody for money.
Okay,
You see, following.
right, right, I
But
gotcha.
that's-
I mean, it just hasn't been talked about, and I didn't want anybody to think that we'd forgotten.
I don't think it's finalized yet.
It's always better to have it in your hand, though, or for you to have it, than
Well,
to try to
that
get it
was
back.
the big, that's the biggest component in those. If you don't have it, then you've got to sue to go get it.
Right, right.
Is it some dollar amount you can email us?
Oh, I don't even care about that, I just wanted to know, make
Yeah,
sure.
I mean, I don't, yeah. I'd encourage you to talk to a commissioner.
Okay.
Okay, did you make a motion?
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
I'll make a motion to
Second.
adjourn.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.